A terminally ill woman finds a pair of red high heels outside her door. She has an instant and ominous feeling. She had visited her best friend in the hospital and she was wearing the exact same shoes. To verify her terrible suspicion, Maya cautiously walks towards the bedroom. Sure enough, she hears two familiar voices. Her best friend Joy is actually lying in bed with her husband. These heartless people even discuss aloud how they should kill Maya to collect the high insurance payout of 1 billion. Seeing her two favorite people betraying her, Maya's only photo with her father was also deliberately damaged. She could no longer hold back her anger and rushed into the room, but now she had no extra strength in her sick and disabled body. Soon Maya was thrown onto the coffee table by her husband. She suffered a serious head injury and instantly collapsed in a pool of blood. But when Maya opened her eyes again, she was reborn with memories and returned 10 years ago. This time, she decided to take revenge on her husband and best friend for killing her. Maya and Tom fell in love for many years and got married. Although her biological parents were not there to witness the wedding, she was still happy to give her best friend Joy the bouquet. Maya also embraced her mother-in-law deeply at the wedding, but since she never got pregnant after marriage, her mother-in-law cursed her as a useless old hen. Seeing everything, her husband Tom did not defend his wife. Instead, he resigned from his job as a breadwinner because he was addicted to stock speculation. In order to try to maintain this small family with leaks everywhere, Maya had to continue to struggle in the workplace. But this day, she suddenly had a nosebleed after being scolded by her boss. After returning home in a flustered state, Maya saw her husband lying on the sofa, unconsciously playing games. She hoped that her husband would repair the long broken door lock and take out the laundry from the washing machine. However, Tom blamed Maya for her poor workability, as if it were none of his business. Then he even wanted to fight to vent his emotions. At this time, Maya found out that she had advanced gastric cancer. After learning this, Tom and his mother were furious. They felt unlucky to have married such a sick child-in-law, and the mother-in-law even pointed at Maya and cursed her, telling her to keep working until she couldn't work anymore. It wasn't long before Maya completely collapsed. Fortunately, Joy never left her side during her hospital stay and urged her never to give up on treatment. Maya, who was immersed in her friendship, was oblivious to the fact that her best friend was plotting a vicious plan. As the medical expenses were really running low, Maya called her husband and asked him to come over and pay the bill, but there was no answer from the other end. She had no choice but to go back herself to withdraw the money. As soon as Maya left the hospital gate, she happened to meet a taxi. The driver could tell that Maya was seriously ill. To help her feel better, the driver turned the car around and drove Maya through a long tunnel to a path full of peach blossoms. The driver tried to comfort Maya's wounded body and mind in this way. After arriving at the destination, the driver even generously handed Maya a banknote and told her that this was the last time he would drive a taxi, because she really couldn't say no to the driver's repeated insistence. Maya had no choice but to take the note and go home, where she found her husband playing games with her best friend. The funny thing was that Joy blamed Maya for everything and scolded her for being so selfish even in death. In order to protect Joy from the beating, Tom threw Maya onto the coffee table and lost his life. They had no idea that the dead Maya had therefore been reborn 10 years ago. To take revenge, she decided to set her husband up with her best friend. On the first day of her rebirth, Maya opened her eyes and was immediately embraced by Tom, who was standing close by. Recalling that 10 years later, he was a domestic abuser, Maya screamed in fear. She kept throwing things at Tom and tugging at his hair. Maya wanted to dismember the playboy. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Minister Jack stepped in and pulled Maya back, saying, "This is the company." Maya looked around at her familiar colleagues and came to her senses. Realizing that she didn't have a needle mark on her hand, she hurriedly went to the mirror to look at her face. She was shocked to see that she really looked 10 years younger. Maya was terrified by all the sudden changes. She kept backing up, knocking over a pot of boiling water. Just as she was about to be disfigured by the heat, Jack came to her rescue in time. However, one wave of trouble followed another. After witnessing Tom and Joy appear at the same time, Maya was reminded of the image of them jointly harming her 10 years later. In her panic, she ran straight out, accidentally losing all her shoes. Jack was really worried about her and chased after her. He happened to save Maya, who was about to fall down the stairs. Jack asked Maya to calm down first and went to help look for her shoes. It was at this time that Maya suddenly saw that the once towering buildings were all shorter. The time it took to look around was marked with the year 2013. A strong sense of unease enveloped her. Yes, Jack quickly escorted Maya home. He knew that Maya's wallet and phone were at the office, so he gave her some cash for emergencies. As the door opened, Maya noticed that the display at home was exactly the same as it had been 10 years ago. The manufacturing dates on all the food in the fridge were also 2013, but before she could figure it out, she heard the doorbell ring. Jack had bought her a bag of food. He hoped that this would help Maya to calm down. That night, looking at the calendar with the year 2013, Maya once again fell into deep thought. She knew that Jack was the grandson of the founder of Future Company. Now that he was only a minister, it clearly confirmed that she had returned to the past. After calming down, Maya sorted out all the cash and found that one of the bills had a heart painted on it. This was the secret code that only she and her father knew. She then realized that the taxi driver she passed by the hospital that day was actually her biological father. But before Maya could react, Tom came home from work. He brought Maya's phone and bag from the office. Then he took Maya to a roadside stall and scolded her for being so inconsiderate. Since she was pregnant, she should have told him. He had found that Maya had been unable to eat recently. He had thought that she was just being cranky because she thought she was pregnant. Tom suggested that she should focus on her career first and get an abortion. As compensation, Tom was willing to pay half of the surgery fee. Maya knew that she had stress gastritis, and she remembered that Tom was the one who had been putting mental pressure on her since then. With no choice, Maya directly proposed to break up. Then she threw the meal fee on the table and turned around to leave. But soon Tom caught up with her. He frantically pushed Maya against the wall and asked her why she was losing her temper for no reason if she wasn't pregnant. "Can you break up just because you want to?" Seeing Tom shouting that he wanted to kill himself, Maya hurriedly shouted for help, attracting the police. But the police officer lectured Maya for a while, saying that it was just a quarrel between a young couple. Then he escorted her home. In order to get rid of Tom as soon as possible, Maya decided to pack her bags and run away that night. However, she discovered that before she was reborn, she had almost transferred all her savings to Tom for fear of breaking up. The remaining 710,000 won could not support her for even a month. At this time, Tom sent a message to Maya apologizing. He also said that he had made a lot of money from the stock he bought, although Maya said that Tom was crazy. But she suddenly remembered that Tom had made a lot of money from stocks before they got married. She quickly invested all her savings. Then Maya went to the hospital for a full body check. Thankfully, at the moment, her health was fine. Feeling relieved, she went to the library again to read books on stock trading and quitting her job. Unexpectedly, she ran into Jack, her manager, and Jack's arm had a clear burn mark, so the two of them went to the cafeteria. Looking at Jack, who had removed his eye patch, Maya inexplicably felt a flutter in her heart. She was very grateful to Jack for his help that day. Jack, however, asked Maya if she wanted to quit because she was getting married. Maya had clearly been prepared to die rather than get married. Maya said she was considering it. But Joy's call interrupted everything. She was worried about Maya's state of mind and called to check on her. Maya, who didn't want to talk, hung up. Before leaving, Jack suddenly praised Maya for being a very capable person. He believed she could do well at work and in marriage. It was a pity that she was quitting her job. Maya kept smiling and didn't say a word. What she didn't know was that day Jack had looked back at her for a long time. The next day Maya went to work as normal to avoid a direct confrontation with Tom. She had no choice but to climb the stairs into the office. No matter how many notes Tom passed her, she never bothered to read them. And as soon as Maya turned around, she saw Joy crouching nearby, asking why she hadn't replied to her messages all day. Maya hesitated and said she'd been hanging out in the community area all day, captivated by a story about a family and their marriage. Watching Joy today, Maya really wants to pat her on the head, but she can't bring herself to do it. Luckily, Chief Jean calls her over at this time. Chief Jean goes through Maya's creative plan and says it's really poor. In front of the whole company, he scolds her severely, but Maya clearly remembers that before she was reborn, Joy took her plan. She didn't change a word, but she received a strong praise from Chief Jean. Joy even got a promotion and a pay rise because of this. Obviously, the two have an extraordinary relationship in private. After being scolded, Maya went to the pantry to print some information. She happened to see Chief Jin's deputy coming here for coffee. Yang counselor may seem dull, but he has the ability to be a section chief. It's just that he has been blocked from promotion by Chief Jean. Maya was about to go up and say hello when Yang counselor was called over by Chief Jean. In her panic, she put her coffee cup on the edge of the table. Maya remembered that she had tripped and hurt her knee before by supporting the cup. After hesitation, she quickly caught the coffee cup in a different position and secretly rejoiced that she had finally changed her fate. But as she turned around, she bumped into Tom. To avoid the playboy, Maya quickened her pace and walked out. Just as she was about to be hit, Jack came to her rescue in time. This convinced Maya that she really had changed her fate. She secretly rejoiced and went to the bathroom to calm her nerves. However, as soon as she went out, she met Jack again. Maya turned around and ran, but as a result, she bumped into her knee. The exact same pain in the exact same place made Maya wonder if she couldn't escape the fate of death. After calming down, she returned to her workstation to continue working, but received a message from Tom, saying that he had sold all his stocks just to pay Maya back. Before she could catch her breath, Jack announced a meeting. Maya was also vaguely uneasy about the scar on Jack's arm, because it was exactly the same as the one she had before her rebirth. Recalling all the things that had happened in the past 2 days, Maya concluded that everything that should happen will happen. She instantly looked serious as she contemplated a solution. That day, Maya took the initiative to invite Tom and Joy to lunch at the company cafeteria. Unexpectedly, when ordering food, Joy suddenly changed her usual style. Usually, she eats very little, but she filled her plate to the brim. This unusual behavior immediately caught Maya's attention. and her thoughts returned to the past. At that time, Joy saw Maya wearing a new dress and deliberately turned back to bump into her, spilling her food all over her. Maya didn't want to lose her only best friend, so she endured everything in silence. But now she has been reborn. She is definitely not someone to be messed with, because she has long since predicted her best friend's movements. Maya tripped her directly when Joy turned her head. The full plate of food was all over Tom. Joy was furious, but she could only eat in silence. She really couldn't figure out when this stupid woman Maya had finally wised up. Maya, on the other hand, suppressed her joy and crouched down to comfort Tom, emphasizing that his favorite designer shirt was dirty because Tom had begged her to buy it for him for a whole year. Joy's face obviously showed that she realized the severity of the problem. She knew the shirt was expensive, but she didn't say anything about compensation. Looking at the two of them in a mess, Maya was so happy that she vented her emotions in the bathroom, but happened to hear someone asking for help with sanitary napkins. Lucy kept thanking Maya after she came out, and after witnessing her holding the shirt over herself in a handsome manner, she blushed and started dancing excitedly like a little fangirl. Lucy said that she had actually asked for help from someone else just now, but that person had left directly after going to the toilet and washing their hands. Maya knew that the person Lucy was talking about was Joy, but she didn't say anything and instead brought Lucy to have dinner with Tom and Joy. At the table, Joy deliberately said in front of everyone that she wanted to buy Tom new clothes. Tom cared a lot about face and directly refused, claiming that it was just a shirt. The outspoken Lucy immediately saw that it was a designer brand, with a market price of 1.5 to 1.8 million. Joy and Tom were caught in an awkward situation when she said this. The two of them were so flattering that Maya looked disgusted. Lucy couldn't care less and just ate her meal. Unexpectedly, Joy, who couldn't stand it, directly asked her why a girl ate so much. After hearing Lucy say that her grandfather had told her that no matter whether you were a man or a woman, you had to eat a lot if you wanted to do great things, Joy cautiously asked her if her grandfather had accomplished great things. Then Joy changed the subject and started talking about how she envied Maya's appetite and praised her for having such a good digestion that she could eat even iron. This really made Tom feel sorry for her. He even followed suit and mocked Maya, saying that she had the same hearty appetite as a pig. He also told Maya that he really envied her for having such a good friend as Joy. Unexpectedly, Maya choked when she heard this. Lucy hurriedly got up to get her a glass of water. Joy and Tom even asked her to pour her a glass of water. Maya knew that Lucy was very unhappy, so she hurriedly comforted her. In fact, Lucy already knew that the person who was unwilling to help her get the tampons was Joy. Turning her head, she played with the kind-hearted Maya, witnessing the two holding hands. Joy asked Tom if Maya was angry. Looking at the petite Joy, Tom couldn't help but reach out and pat her shoulder to comfort her. The two, who were looking into each other's eyes, were in the depths of love. Suddenly, the elevator door opened. In the crowd, Joy and Tom were pushed to the back. Joy poked Tom in the chest because she had nowhere to put her hands. She flirted with Tom in public, using the charming perfume she was wearing. Joy not only seduced Tom, she also used her beauty to manipulate the company section chief. Joy knew that Chief Jean had lived for more than 30 years without ever having a woman. In order to attract the attention of the section chief, she deliberately did it in front of him. Joy pretended to know what was going on and reminded the colleague who had been scolded that he was being bloodied. Then she kindly spoke up to beg for the colleague. Joy asked Maya to go out and pour Chief Jean a cup of coffee to calm him down, while she took out her own planning proposal and cooed at him to let him take a look. After noticing that Chief Jean was silent, she even went so far as to say, "Shall I take you out for some fresh air?" In order to quickly fulfill her wish for a promotion and pay rise, Joy even waited specifically by the toilet door and bumped into Chief Jean when he came out. This combination of moves made Chief Jean instantly look lusty, and he agreed to all of Joy's requests without hesitation. And all of this was witnessed by Maya, who had been given a second chance. That day, when she took the elevator to work, Maya noticed that Joy was once again pretending to be kind in front of Chief Jean and holding the elevator door open for her. She wanted to refuse, but she just walked right in. Unexpectedly, Jack suddenly came out at the last minute. Joy looked at his handsome face and instantly became infatuated. But Jack only had eyes for Maya, who he had long been secretly in love with. As the elevator door slowly closed, Joy's moment to shine finally arrived. She heard Chief Jean scolding Maya for the rubbish proposal she had made. Maya had always been a hard worker, he said, so she couldn't have been slacking. Joy pointed to the coffee in Maya's hand and asked if it was good. Even though Maya said she had bought it on her way back from a business trip, Chief Jean kept swearing and using foul language to please the beautiful Joy. This made Jack instantly unable to tolerate. He then asked Maya alone to meet him on the roof and let her finish her drink outside before going back in, so as not to be disturbed. In a daze, Maya remembered that Jack had praised her for being capable and decided not to quit her job. Hearing this, Jack was very happy and asked her if she had any plans for the weekend. Maya shook her head and wanted to reply that she didn't. But just then, Joy followed her out. She lied and said that she had plans with Maya for the weekend to go for barbecue. Then she even nagged Maya to buy her some good coffee right away. After Joy was rejected, She directly cursed Maya behind her back, worried about Jack's painful burns on his arm. Maya carefully prepared painkillers for him. Unexpectedly, Jack directly broke half of them and gave them to Maya, and asked her to take good care of herself first. After all, the injury on his leg also hurt a lot. This scene was all seen by Tom. Jealous, he immediately asked Maya to the warehouse. Tom questioned Maya if it was because of Jack that she wanted to break up with him. Obviously, Maya looked innocent, but in order to quickly match Tom up with Joy, Maya still suppressed her anger and cooed at Tom, saying that it was Jack who ordered her to go shopping. The reason she mentioned breaking up was because she felt that Jack had become indifferent. Hearing Maya say that she wanted to be the kind of outstanding boyfriend that would be snatched away by someone else, Tom instantly fell in love and wanted to taste Maya's lips. Damn it, how could Maya, who had a heart of gold, want to be intimate with him? In her panic, she reached for a wrench. However, just as Maya was about to do it, Yang counselor walked in. She found Maya and Tom entering the warehouse and was worried about an accident, so she came to check. Since young counselor could tell that Maya was very reluctant, she reminded Maya as someone who had been in the same situation, that even as a couple, you shouldn't force the other person to make out. Maya could tell that young counselor was very nice, recalling that Joy had once successfully turned things around with her own proposal that Chief Jean had rejected. In order to help young counselor, who was being exploited by Chief Jean every day, advance her career, Maya took the proposal directly and said she would cooperate with Yang counselor, claiming that she knew the reason Chief Jean became a section chief was because he submitted young counselor's proposal in his name. Maya also expressed confidence in doing a good job with the current proposal. She just hoped young counselor could seriously review it. Yang counselor, who was loyal to Chief Jean, was tempted by Maya's perfect plan, but she had one condition. She had to make sure that Chief Jean hadn't seen the proposal. Soon Monday arrived. Maya handed Chief Jean the proposal, which had been colored in. While he was leafing through it, Maya and Yang counselor both held their breath. As the pages turned, both of them were overcome with nervousness. Seeing Chief Jean fly into a rage, Maya secretly felt vindicated. She was sure that this scumbag section chief was just goofing off at work every day. She immediately went to the pantry to celebrate with Yang counselor. Unexpectedly, Joy also set her sights on them as they were surrounded by happiness. She found Maya's proposal very promising. That night, Joy asked Chief Jean out. She said that Maya was very rigid, but the proposal seemed very good. Joy then deliberately drank a lot. Maya, who was working overtime as usual that day, found a set of designer earrings on her desk. Joy had written in a note inside that she hoped she could wear them when they went for barbecue at the weekend, because they were a matching pair to the ones she was wearing. Maya's face instantly changed when she saw the earrings. Her thoughts then returned to before she was reborn. At that time, Maya arrived at the barbecue restaurant as promised. Unexpectedly, the dinner Joy had promised them was actually a class reunion with a group of people. As soon as she entered, she was mocked by her former bullies for wearing fake earrings. Maya wanted to immediately escape from this place of trouble. However, Joy rushed over and forcibly pulled her in. Maya, who really couldn't fit in that day, hid in the bathroom alone and stared blankly. When she saw the bullies come in to wash their hands, they threatened Maya, saying that she had come here in rags just to eat some meat. It was clear that Joy, that simple-minded child, had been too kind to her. After all, if it weren't for Joy, Maya wouldn't even have had any kebab to eat. Joy was too kind. Recalling that she had been tortured beyond recognition in high school, Maya felt a deep sense of helplessness. However, at this moment, one person said, "Maya, you were just not at your seat. Could it be that you are hiding in the toilet and eavesdropping?" In order to find Maya, they kicked open the toilet door one after the other. Sure enough, they found her curled up into a ball. As soon as the elevator door opened, Maya met Jack. Jack immediately noticed that the earrings were fake and reminded her that she should not wear them. Recalling that before her rebirth, Jack had also reminded her of this, but she had doubted that he was being unreasonable. Maya hurriedly said sorry and told him that if there was an emergency at work over the weekend, they could make an appointment, because she wasn't going to the barbecue. In fact, Jack had secretly investigated the barbecue restaurant Maya went to, a high school reunion, and he learned from Maya's high school friends that Maya had been bullied. Jack told her to give it a try. At the same time, because he hadn't made love to Maya for a long time, and was still in the elevator, Joy flirted with him on the spot. Tom lost half of his soul. He kept complaining about why Joy was Maya's best friend, which prevented him from taking the opportunity to do anything. Tom hoped that his best friend could introduce him to a beautiful woman to distract him. Unexpectedly, his friend told him to go back to Maya. It was also at the suggestion of his friend that Tom went to Maya's house. He learned that the Maya he wanted to make out with had also asked Joy to come over at the same time. She even went to the supermarket to buy high-strength alcohol for the two of them. Unexpectedly, the chat was cut short because of the lack of cute emoticons. Joy felt that Maya was too cold. Just as Maya arrived home, she told her that she was not coming. Realizing that something was wrong, Maya turned around and tried to run. However, Tom came out of the bathroom. It turned out that the minister had been deliberately paying attention to Maya's every move. He predicted that Maya would bring Tom and Joy wine tonight to set them up, and if things went as expected, Maya would be trapped in the house with Tom, plotting evil deeds. Jack even let his best friend pretend to be a delivery boy at the critical moment when Maya lost her innocence and came to deliver fried chicken on the pretext of entering the wrong room. Sure enough, Maya, who heard the doorbell, felt like she had grabbed a lifeline. Maya pushed Tom away and asked him if he had ordered fried chicken in the middle of the night. Obviously, Maya looked panicked. Luckily, the delivery man was not about to leave. After turning around and thinking for a moment, he actually started selling right there. A meal of procrastination also made Tom gradually irritable. He got dressed and came out to warn the delivery man whether it was delivered by mistake or not. Leave now. Otherwise, if you make me angry, it will definitely affect your whole family. Even though he didn't like this arrogant Tom, the delivery man still instantly changed his face and turned around and left. Just as Tom was smugly thinking that he could continue the sweet moment, Maya pushed him from behind and he fell outside the door. She hurriedly locked the door in order to avoid a bad relationship with Tom. She sent him a message. Today, your attitude has left me at a loss. After realizing that there was no movement outside, Maya became even more panicked. She was afraid that Tom, who had killed her in a previous life, would forcibly take over her. Fortunately, the next second she saw Tom send a message saying he was leaving. Maya let out a sigh of relief and directly threw Tom's shoes out. Looking at her bare feet, Tom came back through the door and told Maya that he had never treated her like some random woman. He had always liked her inner beauty. Besides, she wasn't very pretty with her skinny body. It wasn't until they saw Tom leave Maya's house with their own eyes that Jack and the delivery man finally let out a sigh of relief. After returning, the delivery man told his partner that Jack seemed very strange lately. Not only had he asked him to pretend to be a delivery man, but also to make over 100 phone calls a day to help find someone. And the person Jack was looking for was Maya's high school classmate Enho. Meanwhile, in preparation for the class reunion that weekend, Maya took out all her clothes to try them on one by one, but they were either too tacky or had no highlights. Then she opened the drawer, and the eyeshadows inside looked like the colors of a goblin, and the lipsticks were also the same Barbie pink as death. Just when she was distracted, Joy sent a message that the meeting was almost there. Before stepping into the barbecue restaurant, Joy once again reminded Maya not to be late and to remember to dress up a little. But as soon as she walked in, she was instantly surrounded by her high school classmates. Among them, those who bullied Maya before even asked Joy. With a face full of concern why she was still hanging out with Maya, Joy said on the surface that she would let everyone be nice to Maya later, and secretly indicated that she recommended Maya to work at the company. But after she started working there, she developed a crush on Tom. Her classmates immediately asked if it was the same person you like. Joy stammered and didn't give a clear answer. Her goal was to deliberately act innocent, while letting the bullies teach Maya a good lesson. It didn't take long before Maya called to say she had arrived. Joy sat quietly in her seat, waiting to see Maya get beaten up. However, she didn't expect that after just one day apart, Maya was like a new person. That day, Maya was worried about what to wear to the class reunion. Then Lucy suddenly texted her to meet up on Saturday. She said she was confident that she could transform Maya. On the day of the appointment, Maya watched as the value of the stock she had invested in rose from 700,000 to 1.4 million. She made up her mind to invest her entire next month's salary so that she could become rich quickly and get away from Playboy Tom. In a daze, she also passed by a jewelry store, where the store's treasure was the same as the earrings Joy had given her for the tower. To see the difference between a fake and the real thing, Maya took out the earrings Joy had given her and started to look closely. Unexpectedly, the two earrings were worlds apart. It was also at this time that Maya remembered when she first started working. She had worn the elderly clothes Joy had given her for a stroll together. At that time, Joy had also asked her to wear the matching couple's hats that didn't match the clothes at all, and reached out to ask her for some sour and sweet candy to eat. Realizing that Maya had forgotten to bring them, Joy turned to Tom with a sinister look and started complaining to him. Even though it was Maya's date with Tom, Joy deliberately walked close to him. She treated Maya like a free nanny, carrying all the bags behind her. All the things that happened at that time seemed like a joke to Maya now. Just as she stood there in a daze, Lucy arrived. Lucy immediately recognized that the earrings Joy had given her were fake. She even showed Maya the real earrings she was wearing without any reservations. While eating together, Maya learned that she was very unpopular in high school. No matter what she did, she was bullied by a group of people. She hadn't decided whether to go to the class reunion tomorrow or not. Lucy simply told her to face the problem head on. Obviously, Lucy's words opened Maya's mind. She remembered hiding in the bathroom before she was reborn. listening to her big sister. She was interrupted in the middle of a sentence. Maya guessed that she would understand the reason for being bullied if she just listened to what her big sister had to say next. Lucy could see that Maya was still a little timid, so she decided to take practical action to repay Maya. Lucy introduced Maya to top domestic designers and asked them to tailor a suitable hairstyle and makeup for her, and lied to Maya that all the expenses for the day would be deducted using her membership vouchers, which were about to expire in one day. Because the change in style was too big, Maya couldn't accept it. Lucy suggested that just a little touch would be fine. With the hairdresser's scissors, Maya went from long, beautiful hair to a cool, short bob. Looking at the new beauty in the mirror, Maya was convinced that she could definitely change her fate from her previous life. To make Maya look even more perfect, Lucy had her change into different styles and different types of clothes. Unexpectedly, each piece of clothing had a unique charm on Maya. After everything was done, the two began to select bags again. The classic pink model instantly caught Maya's eye, because before she was reborn, Tom had bought it for Joy. Lucy thought Maya liked it and was about to buy it. That night, Tom called Maya many times for the picnic, but all were unanswered. He was too proud to face the fact and simply told his brother to ignore his girlfriend. Later, Tom even performed in public on how to quickly win a girl's heart. Maya's eyes were filled with the scene of Tom killing her before she was reborn. After being awakened by a nightmare, she looked at Shi Yuan sleeping on the floor and realized for the first time what a true friend was. At the same time, Chief Jean sent a message saying that he hoped Joy would work with Yang Counselor on the project to develop Maya. This made Maya even more certain that Joy and Chief Jean were involved. Just then, Joy sent a text message, reminding her not to forget their date at the barbecue restaurant. Maya had just replied when she got a call from Joy and heard that Lucy was at Maya's house right now. Although jealous, Joy pretended to be happy. She begged Maya to give her the project proposal. If she made a few changes and submitted it, Chief Jean would definitely approve it. Unexpectedly, the usually weak Maya refused. She told Joy that she had already revised the proposal again. Maya then hung up the phone. Although Joy was angry and wanted to yell back, she didn't forget to remind Maya to wear the earrings. Then she asked Chief Jean out. Joy once again used her beauty to get Maya's first draft of the project. Soon it was the day of the class reunion. Lucy got up early in the morning to put on beautiful makeup for Maya. She encouraged her that makeup is a skill and that with more practice, she would get better. She also told Maya that there are different grades of fake earrings. The ones Joy gave her were the most insincere and inferior ones. Seeing the new Maya from the inside out, Joy's smile instantly froze. Back then, Maya confessed to the boy at school with the encouragement of her best friend. However, Joy replaced the confession letter with a dirty abusive letter. The boy, who also secretly loved Maya, was extremely disappointed after reading the letter's content. From then on, the two parted ways and never saw each other again. Unexpectedly, 10 years later at a high school reunion, Enho not only exposed Joy's lie in public, but also loudly declared his feelings for Maya. At the class reunion, Maya makes her revenge debut. Unexpectedly, before she can make her move, Lucy assists her in dealing a heavy blow to Joy. Joy is just gloating, showing off her fake earrings. The classmates then notice that Maya's earrings seem more high-end in comparison. Seeing Joy at a loss for words, she is extremely embarrassed. Maya is even more convinced that Lucy is her real friend, because the earrings she is wearing now are the real ones that Lucy bought for her. Subsequently, Maya gets up and goes to the bathroom, and, relying on her memory, hid in the stall she had avoided before her rebirth. She tried to find the real reason why she had been bullied in high school. Sure enough, the next second, Big Sister and her group arrived as promised. Every word they said was exactly the same as Maya remembered. They also got to the point and started to poke the toilet door one by one. They were ready to find Maya hiding inside and eavesdropping, and they were furious. Unexpectedly, this time, Maya took the initiative to kick the door open. She told the bullying group of cowards, who bully the weak but fear the strong, not to mind her and to continue. Facing the provocation of the Big Sister, Maya was not at all flustered. Having expected it, she took out an envelope from her bag and told them that the earrings that Joy had given her were obviously fake, so she had bought the real ones. Realizing that the group was speechless, Maya pressed her advantage and asked them what else they coveted from Joy. Unexpectedly, she was told that there was still a man. Big Sister threatened Maya that she got into the company through Joy's introduction, but ended up being interested in Joy's crush, Tom, and that when Joy and Enho were dating in high school, Maya was the one who forced them to break up. Obviously, all of this even made Maya doubt herself. To prove her innocence, she directly took out her business card and told these fools who only listened to one side of the story that she had been in the company for 7 years and had long since become a regular agent, and that Joy had been recommended for the position in the second year after she became an agent. She had only joined the company a year ago and had not yet been made a full agent. She didn't even have a business card. The funniest thing was that Tom was obviously her boyfriend. So when did he become Joy's boyfriend? Maya then directly dialed Tom's phone number, as she had been waiting all night for Maya to call. Tom was extra obedient for fear of losing his girlfriend, but before Tom could finish speaking, Maya hung up. The rumor about Joy was disproved. However, the bullies were not prepared to let it go. They said that even if all this was true, but Maya, being so young, can't make them break up just because she likes her best friend's boyfriend. Seeing this unrelenting big sister, bad memories instantly flooded Maya's mind. In full view of everyone, Maya asked Joy if she had really dated Enho. The guilty conscience Joy was afraid to answer. She lied and said that she forgot to tell Maya at the time. It was clear that Joy was unable to refute. Maya's big sister defended Joy and scolded Maya for being so temperamental that she had no friends. Everyone blamed Maya for being too petty, but Maya knew how hard life had been for her that year when she was bullied. Now, even her big sister wanted her to apologize. After all, Joy had admitted to dating Enho, so why shouldn't Maya? Seeing that Joy was still lying, Maya was completely desperate. But then she saw a familiar face. Enho was extremely excited. Seeing Maya panic and run out, Enho, who didn't want to miss this again, chased after her. He loudly declared his love for Maya. Unexpectedly, this scene was also witnessed by Jack, who had followed quietly. Because he deeply loved Maya, Jack resolutely said that he would marry the person he loved most, even if it meant offending his grandfather. Without finding out who had captivated Jack so much, Grandpa began to secretly send someone to investigate. Jack, on the other hand, wanted to see Maya and came to the barbecue restaurant. However, he found Enho holding Maya's hand and confessing his love, because Maya had exposed all of Joy's lies at the class reunion. The big sisters and their friends turned on Joy and launched a round of attacks. They asked Maya if she was an agent of the company. There was also a business card as proof. Joy, what proof do you have of your position? After hearing Joy's guilty confession that Maya had joined the company late but quickly got promoted, which is why she had a business card, the big sisters finally refused to believe her lies. After all, if Maya had been planted in the company by Joy, how could she have been promoted so quickly? The rest of the bullies were also not idle. They questioned Joy. You obviously got into the company thanks to Maya. Yet you asked me out to teach me interview skills and even asked me to buy you dinner. It all seems a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? In addition, why did she lie about having dated Enho and say that Maya had broken them up? They didn't know why Enho, who had long since lost contact, had come to the class reunion, but Joy still defended herself, saying that it was all in the past, and that they should let it go now that they were adults. Little did she know that big sister wasn't prepared to let it go. She knew that she had been played by Joy all along, and finally asked her if she had really given Maya fake earrings. Seeing that Joy still wanted to argue and say that she was Maya's friend, big sister bluntly stated that if it weren't for Joy's constant claims that Maya coveted her man, the studious Maya would never have been bullied throughout high school. But this remark also completely angered Joy. She threatened that she had never let anyone scold Maya, let alone bully her. Joy then got up and went to the bathroom, muttering to herself that she hadn't done anything wrong. But why was she being blamed? Then she trembled as she called Maya on the phone. But after a long wait, there was no answer on the other end. When Joy came out of the bathroom, all her classmates had already left. She had become the outcast. Maya, on the other hand, was at a loss for what to do about Enho's confession. Then Jack suddenly called and told her that although he was sorry to talk about work over the weekend, he really needed Maya's help with the group's publicity budget. Unexpectedly, Maya agreed. Before she left, she exchanged phone numbers at Enho's request. After watching Maya leave in the car, Enho turned around and saw Jack. Neither of them expected that their next meeting would be as rivals. Maya was convinced that Jack had never asked her out on a weekend before. Although she was very puzzled, she still followed him into the venue, and as soon as she entered the door, she was shocked by the scene in front of her. Jack's platform for publicity would monopolize television for all ages within 10 years. This forward-thinking approach clearly surprised Maya, but then she ran into an old acquaintance. Mark, who was also in a high position, was actually the partner Jack was trying to convince. Maya remembered that person had assaulted a flight attendant on a plane. It seems that the incident of assaulting a flight attendant has not yet happened. In addition, Mark was also Chief Jin's backer. Sure enough, Mark came up and tried to shake Maya's hand with a sly look. Fortunately, Jack directly intervened to stop him and comforted Maya, saying that this kind of work might be very boring. Seeing that he couldn't get any free rides, Mark actually stated that the TV station was full of unhealthy films that couldn't be shown on the table. But it was obvious that Maya was just trying to smooth things over for Mark. Mark actually scolded Maya for being arrogant and butting in. Jack, who couldn't stand it anymore, directly and domineeringly stepped forward to defend Maya. Mark had no choice but to vent his anger on his lackey. Afterwards, Maya couldn't understand why Jack had to help her, but she was told that it was because she was very good and deserved everything that was better. Then Jack even proposed to personally take Maya home. After all, it was the weekend and he felt bad making Maya work overtime. But as soon as they arrived at the entrance to the residential area, Maya saw Tom walking towards her house. She hurriedly lowered the seat to try to hide. This cute scene also melted Jack's heart. Maya, who stubbornly insisted that she didn't want to see Tom, sat up. Then she saw Joy sitting on the roadside. She had no choice but to lie down again. Maya then went to the river with Jack to relax. She knew that Jack really wanted to ask her about her relationship with Tom. She spoke first, saying that it was a private matter and she couldn't disclose it. Before leaving, Jack clearly wanted to confess his love to Maya, but he was just too clumsy to say anything, hoping that Maya could meet as many people as possible before getting married. Meanwhile, Tom and Joy, who had also gone to Maya's house, bumped into each other. Joy, who was petite and cute, quickly aroused Tom's protective instinct. While comforting Joy, he said that Maya would definitely forgive everything, and took Joy to Maya's house. However, no matter how many times Tom tried the password, it was incorrect, and Maya's phone was not answering. Joy successfully charmed Tom with a glimpse of her charms, and they went to the restaurant. She pretended to be aggrieved, saying that Maya had recently become very strange and seemed to be drifting further and further away from her, recalling that it had been a long time since she had been intimate with Maya. Tom also felt a vague unease in his heart. He even began to suspect that Maya and Jack were secretly in love. After a self-talking strategy, Tom comforted Joy, saying that Maya had always been a stubborn person. She must have been very busy at work recently. After all, no one doesn't know how close she is to Joy. Joy said, "Luckily, you made me happy today." Tom, who had obviously been praised, became shy in an instant, and felt a tingling sensation when Joy guided him in picking up the rice cake. Meanwhile, Maya had just finished showering when she saw a stack of design drafts on the table. Lucy had taken the whole day to sketch interior decorations for Maya while she was at the class reunion, and this made Maya even more convinced that Lucy was a true friend. She was so happy that she was soon interrupted by her phone. Joy had sent several text messages in a row, explaining that everything that happened at the class reunion was a misunderstanding, and then she even called from Tom's phone. Maya didn't want to be disturbed by scumbags and hung up. Unexpectedly, the next second Tom sent a message saying that Joy was crying her heart out, and maybe there really was a misunderstanding between them. Seeing her best friend snuggle up with her boyfriend in the middle of the night, Maya was not angry, but instead praised Tom generously. Fortunately, he was there for Joy. He was asked to take care of Joy and preferably walk her home himself. Everything was waiting for Maya to figure it out herself. Tomorrow, she would go to the company and talk about it. That night, as soon as Maya closed her eyes, she was filled with images of Tom and Joy being intimate before her rebirth. Just then, a strange number called. Before connecting, Maya deliberately cleared her throat. The caller was indeed Enho, who had a crush on Maya. He said that he was a very slow person, but there is something he must figure out now. It was then that Enho told Maya that the reason he was so angry in high school and told Maya not to speak to him anymore was because he had written Maya a confession letter. But Maya had written back with a harsh rejection laced with foul language, and he still had that reply letter. Obviously Maya had never seen the confession letter, let alone the reply, so she told Enho she hoped to meet up and sort things out. The next morning, Maya, dressed in a smart casual outfit, entered the office and was immediately surrounded by her colleagues. Visual animal Tom couldn't help but get all over her. Unfortunately, this scene was witnessed by Jack. Jealous, he not only distracted himself and knocked over the shelves, but also turned his head and bumped into other employees. Everyone was surprised by Jack's unusual behavior. Joy, on the other hand, was thinking about seizing every opportunity with men. She even took the initiative to squat on the floor to pick something up. Unexpectedly, Jack walked straight past Joy and went over to Maya. She said that she didn't seem to be dressed appropriately for work. Realizing that her words were too harsh, she quickly changed her tone and said that it was because she had never seen Maya wearing glasses before that she felt that way. Joy saw this and also came over to flatter Maya. Jack stopped her, however, and turned around to go back to the office. Soon, Tom was surrounded by his colleagues. They praised Maya, saying that she really was very pretty and that Tom had good taste. They also said that the whole company was now focusing on Maya, the beautiful woman. But the praise also reminded Tom to be on his guard. After all, just because there is a goalkeeper doesn't mean no one will score. But although Maya only had eyes for him, he felt uneasy in his heart. He hurriedly offered to buy Maya coffee as a gesture of concern. Tom also kept apologizing for his impulsive behavior that night. Seeing that Maya never spoke, he asked Maya further about what happened when she met Jack at the weekend. Because she didn't want to say that she had met Enho at the class reunion, Maya had to use Jack's excuse that he had an emergency to find her over the weekend. So she left the reunion in a panic. As they talked, Tom inadvertently took Maya's hand and praised her for looking really beautiful today. He looked at her a lot, which made him angry. After all, Maya could only be his. Seeing Tom's increasingly intimate behavior, Maya, who felt deeply disgusted, no longer sat idly by. She directly pretended to accidentally knock over the cup of hot coffee. Tom instantly felt pain in his lower body and hurriedly ran to the bathroom in a flustered state. That day, Joy called Maya to the tea room and asked her if she had misunderstood her. She also said that she didn't know why those bullies were so mean, and had to bring up what happened 10 years ago at the class reunion. If it were Maya before she was reborn, she might have forgiven the meek Joy a long time ago, but now that she has seen the tragic ending in advance, how could she possibly believe Joy's words? but in order to let Joy successfully steal her life. Maya still tried her best to squeeze out a smile. Then she said that in the past, her big sister and her friends often bullied her with strange excuses. Now it seems that it's Joy's turn, but Joy's heart, which had just been set free. Maya said that she is no longer a high school student and will not let it go. Therefore, she decided to meet with Enho to find out everything. Although Joy said happily, she was panicking inside. She deliberately mentioned that if Maya went to see her high school crush Enho like this, would Tom be upset if he found out? In fact, all of this was actually in Maya's control. First, she said that Tom would do whatever she wanted. Then she deliberately told Joy that Tom had recently made a lot of money from the stock market and was in a good mood, so he wouldn't care too much. Maya did this in the hope that Joy would continue to seduce Tom. Joy, who was money-minded, obviously fell for it. When she finished work, she wanted to call Maya's name, but after hesitation, she changed her mind. She even asked everyone if they wanted to go out for fried chicken together. Yang counselor refused because she had to pick up her child. Even the usually easygoing Maya said she had work to do, but the greedy Lucy raised her hand and wanted to go. Joy pretended not to see and turned her head, saying that the company should give Maya a bonus. After all, she was doing all the work. Maya ignored her and walked straight into the elevator. But at the last second Jack arrived. He saw that there were a lot of people and decided to wait for the next elevator. However, when he saw Maya in the elevator, he plucked up the courage to squeeze in. Young counselor looked at the capable Maya and sincerely praised her, and the others echoed that Maya and Tom were really a perfect match. Facing everyone's praise, Maya could only smile and nod to thank them, unaware of Jack's mixed emotions. As soon as they got out of the elevator, he left Maya alone. Jack asked her why she dressed like that to work, and when he realized that Maya didn't understand what he meant, he apologized awkwardly, saying that he shouldn't have asked. But just as he was about to leave, Jack turned around and told Maya that he had followed her advice and worn contact lenses. When Maya said that because of this, other people's attitudes towards her had also changed, and that this was how people who judge others based on appearances should be treated, and that it was all for her own good. Jack didn't look worried anymore, but instead, he smiled with relief. After hearing Maya's suggestion that he change his style a bit and not be bound by a certain form, Jack made a phone call, and then he fought with the fried chicken delivery boy who had pretended to be a delivery boy. After thoroughly beating the fried chicken delivery boy until he could no longer stand upright, Jack muttered that if he were to learn self-defense for girls, judo seemed like a better choice. Then he left directly. Soon, Maya, who had finished work, was preparing to go home from the mall, recalling what Tom had said during the day that Jack liked her, and the image of Jack smiling at her. Maya couldn't help but smile happily. When she turned her head, she saw Lucy, overwhelmed by her new purchase of jewelry. Maya wanted to go up and say hello, but then she saw Jack walking out. The two of them, acting intimately, looked like a young couple in love. In the middle of the night, Maya suddenly remembered the rumor about Jack and Lucy that had spread through the company. Chief Jean even said that the two of them were having an improper relationship, and for that reason, he had transferred Lucy. The more she thought about it, the more coincidental it seemed. And Maya even concluded that the reason she kept running into Jack recently must be because she had become friendly with Lucy. Although she was a little disappointed, Maya still accepted the truth. On the other side, Jack and Lucy arrived at Grandpa's house together. Lucy kept saying that she was happy to use her brother's card to buy luxury goods today. Jack, on the other hand, looked impatient. After sending off Lucy and Jack, Grandpa turned to his secretary and asked if he had found out the woman's identity. That night, Jack looked at the heart-shaped mark on his collarbone and remembered Maya saying that every time Maya's father gave her pocket money, he would draw a heart there. Jack's mind became even more confused because he had also been reborn, and he knew that Tom would have an illicit relationship with Joy, and that those two had teamed up to hurt Maya. It turned out that before being reborn, Jack had attended Maya's funeral, where he witnessed the police arresting Tom and Joy for joint murder. In addition, he heard the big sister crowd, who were also at the funeral, discussing Joy and Tom's illicit relationship. That's when Enho arrived. He confessed that he had never been in a relationship with Joy, and all this made Jack furious. On the way home that day, he had a car accident. When Jack opened his eyes again, he was reborn with memories 10 years ago. The only goal of this rebirth was to help Maya take revenge, because Maya said she hoped to change her style and experience more different styles. Jack even changed his appearance and stepped into the company's door. His handsome appearance made all his colleagues fall in love with him, but in the face of everyone's admiration, he didn't care at all. Jack turned and went straight to Maya's side and told her that indeed, she would feel better if she dressed like this. The scene of the two of them smiling at each other was also seen by Tom. After saying that, Tom dragged Maya into the meeting room and impatiently told her why she still hadn't kept her distance from Jack. Even though Maya said that Jack already had a girlfriend and would never like her, Tom said that as long as he was a man, he had the potential to cheat on her. Obviously, Maya's gaze gradually turned cold, because she knew that the womanizer Tom was talking about was none other than himself. But in order to change the tragic life of being cheated on in her past life, which was killed by Tom. Maya still set against her will after all. Tom, you are not this kind of man. That's why I think all men are as good as you. In fact, Jack had secretly fallen in love with Maya from the moment he set foot in the university. At that time, Jack had been in the army for 100 days and finally got the opportunity to take a leave of absence. But as soon as he had finished celebrating happily with his brothers outside the school, and ran into a drunk Maya. Originally, Jack didn't pay much attention and was about to leave, but heard two thugs by the roadside discussing with lustful expressions whether they should pick Maya up. To prevent any accidents from happening, Jack took the initiative to come to her side. Unexpectedly, she was told by Maya that her father had passed away on the 2nd of March and she had broken up with her boyfriend completely. The people around her even disliked her and were unwilling to make friends with her. She was truly all alone now. Maya also noticed that Jack smelled of alcohol. She was so drunk that she bit him, unintentionally. She also stepped on and broke her glasses. Looking at this seemingly cute girl, Jack was moved. That night, he sat with Maya on the school lawn and reminisced. Maya said that in fact, long before her father's death, she and her boyfriend had problems. Even at her father's funeral, her boyfriend did not attend because she was afraid that in the end she would be left all alone. She endured her boyfriend's indifference for 3 whole months before breaking up with him. In addition, Maya said she didn't know when her boyfriend started to only see Joy. She admitted that Joy was her only best friend, but every time she was sad and needed Joy, she wasn't around, and she couldn't tell her about it because it would make her look weak. Maya said that ever since her father passed away, she had been very uneasy. Only Joy could make her feel at ease. To comfort Maya, Jack also told her his heartache. His mother died 15 years ago. He then had a stepmother and a younger sister. Although they are all very nice, he just feels a bit strange. That night, the two people who saved each other talked for a long time. Afterwards, they even fell asleep together on the lawn. In the early morning, Jack felt much more at ease when he looked at Maya next to him. But when he woke up from his sleep again, Maya had secretly left without saying goodbye. The next day, Jack was just warming up with the reserve players of the national team before going back to class. On the way, he met Maya again. Maya muttered to herself, "What happened last night was horrible. I actually buried my head in the arms of an unattractive older man." When Jack went downstairs, he realized that Maya had been feeding the stray cats, rain or shine, just as she always had. Over time, Jack went from being afraid of the cats to liking them, and, little by little, Maya and his heart grew closer and closer. But then the kittens had an accident on the road, and Jack never saw Maya again until the first day of work. He discovered that Maya had become an employee of his company. He wanted to take the opportunity to confess boldly, but saw that Maya had already become an office couple with Tom. Thinking back on the past, Jack, who had come back to life, secretly made up his mind to confess to Maya because Jack was dressed in a brand new way at work. His female colleagues all gathered in the pantry, silently infatuated, but Chi Yuan said that he was not her type. Although Maya didn't say anything, she secretly thought to herself, people will naturally discover after dating that the other person is not their type. Subsequently, in order to quickly move forward with Maya's project for a ready meal kit, Yan counselor carefully analyzed the situation and said that green peppers are high in nutritional value, but are not widely available, so he really didn't know how to obtain them. Unexpectedly, upon hearing this, Lucy's eyes lit up. She had worked with her grandfather in the fields since she was a child, treading the soil and toiling, suggesting that green peppers are not a different variety, and there is a market for them as long as they are harvested before they are fully ripe. But at this point, Joy interjected, sat down next to Maya, and said that she had also stepped on the beach with Maya. Without highlighting her friendship with Maya, she deliberately said that she used to buy candy with her all the time, and every time Maya broke it, she helped her peel it. Then she went on to say that after Maya went to college in Seoul, she couldn't make friends, so she had to take the bus back and forth between Busan and Seoul a lot. Little did she know that Lucy had already seen through Joy as a bad person, not only giving her a dirty look, but also speaking angrily after hearing Joy say that she went to Seoul every week to find Maya. And Yang counselor just wanted to ask Maya why she went to Seoul to go to college, but Joy interrupted, pretending to understand, saying that it was because she wanted to go to a Korean university. Before she could finish speaking, Chief Jean walked in and scolded them for not working during work hours and actually goofing off, and specifically asked Maya, who graduated from a Korean university, to help move the car. Although Maya was very reluctant, she still did it, and after moving the car, she took the elevator back to the company. She expected Joy to be crouching at the elevator entrance to comfort her. Sure enough, as the door opened, Joy appeared in front of her. As soon as she spoke, she said she was worried about Maya, and then said that if Maya couldn't give her the quick cook meal kit project, then she should let her join in too. Maya said she needed to think about it. Unexpectedly, Joy flew into a rage at the mere mention of it. He questioned Maya if she was still angry about what happened with her classmates. If she really was still angry, she should say so instead of ignoring her. Realizing that Maya was obviously a little flustered, Joy actually put on a smile again. She once again emphasized that she wanted to be included in the project. Chief Jean, who was passing by, was even more direct at Maya's eye signal and called her into his office and asked when she would be able to revise the proposal. After learning that it had not been revised, he simply informed her that he had already spoken to young counselor and Joy, asking them to join in and help. Unable to tolerate such workplace undercurrents, Maya confessed that Lucy and young counselor were already helping and would be able to finish it quickly. However, what she never expected was that Chief Jean would resort to underhanded tactics for the sake of Joy. He told Maya that your proposal duplicates the one I prepared last time. At this point, Maya realized that if she changed anything from her pre-rebirth life, the situation would get out of control. Since she hadn't given Joy the proposal, Chief Jean would just take it from her. Seeing Maya standing there in shock, Jack volunteered to take her out to dinner that night. However, Maya declined, saying that she had some personal business to take care of that night. What she meant by personal business was meeting with Enho. That night, as he looked at the beautiful and charming Maya, Enho couldn't hold back his excitement and invited her to wine tasting, and was more than willing to give her all the $1 million bottles in the wine cellar. No surprise, Maya rejected him. She asked Enho to take out the rejection letter. Maya then realized that the content of the letter was really hurtful. But what shocked her even more was that Joy could imitate her handwriting so vividly. She told Enho that she really didn't write it. Maya noticed that Enho wanted to give her a jacket, so she quickly refused. And because the air conditioning in the house was too strong, she asked him to go outside, because Maya could now see that 31-year-old Enho still liked her. She simply told Enho that she had a boyfriend. Maya realized that the person Enho was referring to was Jack, and she hurriedly asked Enho how he knew the minister, but was told that the minister had invited him to the class reunion. He seemed to still care about Maya, although Maya was very puzzled as to why Jack knew Enho, and after learning that Enho was also unsure, Maya didn't ask anymore. What neither of them noticed at the moment was that Jack, who was passing by, happened to see them standing by the roadside. Because Maya had been meeting with Enho, she had been late in answering Tom's call. Unexpectedly, Tom called Joy without any reservations to ask if she was currently with Maya. Joy knew full well that Tom was afraid of his beautiful girlfriend being snatched away by someone else, but she lied and said that Maya had even looked in the mirror several times while getting dressed before leaving. Realizing that Tom was obviously a little angry, Joy immediately said that she would definitely keep an eye on Maya. After all, Maya's sudden change in appearance recently was very strange, and Maya's mother also cheated on her husband and ran away after giving birth to Maya. Hearing this news, Tom's mind instantly cleared, and Joy then pretended to be aggrieved, hoping that Tom would pretend that he hadn't heard anything. After all, infidelity is not hereditary, so there shouldn't be any problems, and the purpose of what she said was obviously to deliberately remind Tom to be careful of Maya. After hearing Tom carelessly say that Maya would definitely be fine, she immediately praised Tom for being such a good man, and repeatedly assured him that she would definitely find out what Chi Yuan had done tonight, although Joy would definitely say that she was at work. After hanging up the phone, she continued to stare at the dresses in the window with a smug look on her face. The more Tom thought about it, the angrier he became, and he began to keep calling Maya harassingly. Because he really couldn't stand Maya anymore, he simply turned off his phone. She also felt unwell in her stomach after drinking with Enho, and Maya was afraid that she would get stomach cancer like in her past life. She went to the pharmacy. Luckily, it was just a minor problem caused by drinking on an empty stomach, and she would be completely fine after taking the medicine for 2 days. On the way home, Ziyuan noticed that someone seemed to be following her, and the more she thought about it, the more scared she became. She ran as fast as she could, and then, even more frightened, changed direction and walked into the small park in front of her house. Unexpectedly, as soon as she turned around, she bumped into Tom. Maya then realized that Tom was holding a grudge against her because she hadn't answered her phone. It had been him the whole time, threatening her out of revenge. But when Maya angrily said that she thought she was being followed by a bad guy, Tom actually licked his face and scolded Maya. How could a man like you have bad intentions? When he noticed that Maya's lips were red, he scolded her for seducing men like her mother. Maya was so angry that she wanted to push Tom away, but he directly grabbed her wrist. The pain made Maya vaguely remember the scene in her past life when Tom set her up. Fortunately, Jack arrived at the critical moment. Without saying a word, he beat Tom up, and found that he still did not change his ways. After he spoke rudely, he grabbed him by the collar and choked him. Jack's mind was full of images of Tom harming Maya in his past life. Seeing that Tom was already on the verge of suffocation, Maya hurriedly shouted Jack's name, which made Jack come back to his senses from his anger. Out of panic, Tom ran away directly. Although he did not understand why Maya did not run with him, Tom still did not have the courage to run back. To comfort the frightened Maya, Jack thoughtfully handed her a glass of water. It turned out that after he saw Maya chatting with Enho on the roadside, Jack didn't want to disturb them and drove off. But in this life, he really didn't want to give up any chance to be with Maya. He called Maya, but the phone showed that it was turned off. Jack was really worried, so he turned around and came back. Unexpectedly, He ran into Tom bullying Maya. Maya was curious why Jack was in the neighborhood. There was clearly nothing to do here. Maya asked Jack why he was worried about her. After all, she had already finished work. Even if something happened, it had nothing to do with the company. Seeing that Jack was very agitated about what Tom had just done to Maya, his words were full of concern for Maya. Although Maya had a good impression of this man, she was angry when she thought that Jack was Lucy's boyfriend. She got up and told him not to meddle in other people's business. At this time, Joy happened to arrive. Her purpose in coming was precisely to see Tom and Maya fight. But before she could get close enough to hear Maya and Jack talking, she got a call from Tom. Meanwhile, Jack repeatedly emphasized that he was very worried about Maya and that he had already handled everything. Maya, however, bluntly told him that your intentions make me very uncomfortable, and questioned him, "Is your girlfriend the business you want to handle?" Without waiting for Jack to explain, Maya scolded him. Seeing that Maya was about to call Lucy, Jack hurriedly stopped her. Learning that Maya thought Lucy was dating her, Jack calmly told her that all of these speculations were wrong. To prove his innocence with Lucy, Jack took out his phone and dialed Lucy's number. She just told Maya that the most beautiful girl's note was saved by Lucy herself. Lucy then called again, and Maya realized that Jack and Lucy were brother and sister. She quickly apologized for her behavior. That night, Jack sent Maya to her doorstep. Before parting, he suddenly leaned into Maya and then fainted in her arms. After being beaten up by Jack, Tom was all in pieces and was crouching by the roadside. Joy, who had arrived, saw his aggrieved appearance. Joy didn't want to miss the perfect opportunity and immediately took out lipstick to touch up her makeup. Then she hailed a taxi and ripped her top open to pretend to bump into Tom. Joy kept comforting Tom, asking if he had been bullied. Her charming and attractive figure, coupled with her flirtatious eyes, soon made Tom's desire overcome his reason. But just as he was about to get close to Joy and get his way, Joy pushed him away, and then she just sat down on the ground and started crying. Her pitiful appearance melted Tom's heart. When she said she was sorry to Maya, Tom's protective instinct kicked in. On the way back, Joy realized that Tom was looking at her. She even put her hand directly on her skirt. As expected, Tom, who had been aroused, followed her all the way to Joy's house. Knowing what Tom meant, Joy even closed the door directly. When Tom realized that he was rejected, he was about to turn around and leave. Joy quickly spoke up, saying that she had a great time with him. While saying that she wanted to be honest with herself today, she walked over to Tom with all her might. While Tom was closing his eyes, she gave him a deep kiss. In this way, Tom's heart was completely hooked. Meanwhile, Jack, who suddenly fainted, was taken to the hospital by Maya, and the results came back quickly. He had a brain strike caused by overwork and lack of sleep. It just so happened that he also had an irregular diet and drank a lot of alcohol. It seems that he was under a lot of stress. To determine whether there was a problem with his autonomic nervous system, the doctor suggested doing a few more tests, and asked him how his digestion was and if he had any stomach problems. Jack perked up instantly when he heard this. He turned to Maya and asked if he had a stomachache, and told the doctor to let her do a test first. Maya had no choice but to confess that she only had gastritis, and had just had a tomography scan a few days ago. To dispel everyone's doubts, Maya quickly changed the subject and asked Jack how he knew she had a stomach problem, but was told that it was because you often took medicine at the company. After leaving the hospital, Jack wanted to go back with Maya on the pretext that his car was near her house, but he found that Maya was frozen in place. After hesitation, Maya confessed that she had a boyfriend, and hoped that Jack would not make things difficult for her because of what happened today. Unexpectedly, Jack was not upset in the least, but instead reminded her to always be on guard against Tom, and called her a taxi. He then confessed again that he liked her, but if she didn't like him, he would do nothing, and would not make things difficult for her. It would be enough for him to hear her say that she didn't like him. Maya hesitated for a long time before she was about to speak, but then stopped herself. Jack hoped that Maya would think about it again. That night, he took the initiative to let Maya open the door for him, so that she would not feel any psychological burden. Then Jack called a car to follow Maya and guard her all the way. But early the next morning, Maya received a text message on her way to work. Enho had even bought her a cup of coffee, and Jack saw the two of them laughing and chatting. An angry Jack went to work with a long face. Lucy could tell that her brother was unhappy, so she hurriedly messaged young counselor and Maya, saying that the minister was in a bad mood today and to be careful not to get on his bad side. The next second, Joy came to work with a spring in her step, while Tom arrived at his workstation moments later. Unusually, his eyes avoided contact and he looked guilty, as he glared at Maya and slammed his documents onto the table. Then Tom went to the roof and muttered to himself that he should beat Maya up 3 times a day. Unbeknownst to him, Jack had seen everything. He directly stated that the company had a rule forbidding office romances. Although it had long since passed, it still existed. After all, just now, your behavior affected work a lot. Hearing that Tom actually dared to ask Jack why he followed his girlfriend Maya last night, Jack, who was well prepared, directly took out his phone to prove that there was a company logistics warehouse at the back of that alley. Moreover, A subordinate cannot just stand by when he encounters a threat to his life on the road. In addition, he even told Tom that some men are not necessarily mature even if they are older, and women will become unhappy if they get involved with someone like that. Jack directly told him to break up with Maya. Tom looked surprised after hearing this. Seeing that Tom still wanted to argue, Jack directly warned him to stop hitting Maya. Then he asked what time it was. Before Tom could react, he felt a sharp pain in his arm. After being lectured, Tom silently hid in the corner. Maya thought he was still angry about what happened yesterday and wanted to break up with him, but Tom took the initiative to apologize, saying that he shouldn't have hit her. But Maya, you were also at fault. You shouldn't treat your boyfriend like a criminal. After turning away, Tom was full of thoughts about Joy, but compared to her, Maya is more suitable for marriage. For the time being, he didn't want to break up either. Seeing Tom so easily forgive and forget, Maya was certain that something was going on between him and Joy. That day, Maya was looking at Jack, who had gone off to eat after work, when she couldn't stop thinking about his confession. Before Maya could react from her reverie, Chief Jean threw a rag at her and asked her to have dinner with young counselor. Because Maya had originally agreed with Joy to have lunch together, she had to tell Joy that she was sorry, but she had something come up. Maya could tell that the two of them were up to no good. In order to match them up, she took out her credit card directly and said, "Joy, you're so skinny, you can't go on like this. Why don't you let Tom take you out for a nice meal?" Joy was surprised and happy. Tom didn't seem to mind. After getting the card, he took Joy to an upscale restaurant and pretended to be a regular customer, asking the waiter to bring the set meal he usually ordered, and saying that he would pay for the wine with his savings. The waiter could tell that Tom was hitting on the girl, so he directly recommended a wine from 2008 that would go well with the meal. As he looked at the charming Joy, Tom asked her politely if she had slept well last night, even though she had obviously slept until morning. Joy pretended to be pitiful, saying that she hadn't slept at all, even though Tom had asked if she had slept well. Although Tom said that he hadn't slept well, he had actually been woken up by the alarm clock. The two of them, who were like two peas in a pod, sipped their wine, while Chief Jean moved into the private room as soon as he arrived. He introduced Mark as the executive, saying that he was a relative of his, and that he had to help him deal with a lot of things every day. "I really envy Maya for being a freeloader who just sits back and gets paid." After seeing Maya pick up sushi with chopsticks and eat it, she even said that Maya was so stupid that she couldn't even eat sushi properly. After Maya said that she would try harder, Chief Jean finally revealed his true colors and said that some things just couldn't be achieved by hard work. With a look that said he was waiting for someone to punch him in the face, he said that he would lend Maya his name. That way, with the chief's blessing, the project would definitely go smoothly. Maya naturally knew that what Chief Jean meant was that she would do the work while he took the credit. Maya, who would never tolerate this in her life, did not agree but directly retorted. After hearing that Chief Jean was going to change the packaging and materials to create a Minsa Kitchen brand and launch a high-end steak, Maya said that the focus of the project plan was to be able to easily make gourmet food at home. The high-end steak obviously strayed from the topic. Little did she know that Chief Jean, who was watching her resist, was even happier. He directly stopped young counselor from withdrawing from the project plan because she was disobeying a superior. Young counselor then realized that today's drama was deliberately staged for Maya. She wanted to speak up for Maya, but she was unwilling to be an agent for the rest of her life. Just as Maya was thinking about how to duel with Chief Jean, she suddenly received a text message for credit card payment. Tom and Joy had spent a whopping 340,000 yuan on dinner. The project quickly fell into Mark's hands. Mark got promoted and made a fortune, and asked Minister Jack to implement it as soon as possible. He also subtly told Jack that the water was too clear for the fish to survive, and that it was also time to promote the elderly Chief Jean. Jack didn't say anything and just turned and left, and Mark was also very angry at his cold back. Jack remembered that Maya had mentioned this project and sent her a message to test her to see how the project was going, even though it was obviously very poor. However, still replied that she was working hard on it, even though she knew Maya was deliberately avoiding suspicion. Jack then asked her if she had a date tonight, because they were going to talk about work, not personal matters. That night, as soon as Jack saw Maya, he asked if she needed any help. He made it clear that he didn't expect anything in return. Seeing Jack so affectionate, Maya couldn't resist again. Then Jack took her to a judo gym. As they walked in, Jack's best friends came up to Maya and praised her for still being so beautiful. When Maya asked if they had met before, Jack quickly gave them a look to stop them talking. The two friends quickly changed the subject and lied that they had seen her before. After changing into the clothes Jack had prepared long ago, Maya began her official training. Under Jack's guidance, she quickly knocked someone down. However, she lost when she fought Jack head-on. Maya's resolve was strengthened after listening to Jack's teachings. Taking advantage of Jack's inattentiveness, she pushed him down directly. In the ecstasy of success, Maya, in a daze, also noticed that Jack in front of her seemed very familiar. She didn't say it directly, but got up and left. Before leaving, Jack repeatedly told Maya to yell if she encountered difficulties in the future. "You really know how to fight." And these words lingered in Maya's ears for a long time. Maya wanted to bring down the arrogant Chief Jean as soon as possible. She handed in the revised proposal again and sincerely apologized for what happened yesterday. She just hoped that Chief Jean would not remove her from the team. Unexpectedly, Chief Jean directly took out Maya's revised proposal and said that this was the result of her hard work. Seeing the extra name of Managing Director Mark on it, Maya instantly understood everything. She implored Chief Jean to give her another chance. Unexpectedly, she was asked to reorganize the two proposals and submit them again. At that time, depending on her performance, a decision would be made as to whether or not to add her name. Joy, who had witnessed Maya's suffering, couldn't help but snigger. Unable to continue working on the proposal with Lucy, Maya specially took dessert to apologize to her. The wonderful taste instantly made Lucy beam with joy. Learning that Enho made the cake, Lucy is also curious about this person. Just then, Enho calls Maya to ask if she has received the cake. Maya does not hesitate to put him on speakerphone. After Maya hangs up the phone, Lucy can't help but tell her, "If you guys aren't in a relationship, one thing is for sure, Enho really likes you, because he couldn't have made such a delicious cake without putting his heart into it." Then Lucy changes the subject and asks Maya if she really has to do what Chief Jean asks. Although she felt that she had acted foolishly when she lost her temper at dinner that day, Maya knew that even if she obeyed the chief now, he would never add her name to the list. It was obvious that the chief was just taking advantage of her. Maya realized that Lucy was worried about her. So she said directly that the key to judo was to defeat an opponent who was stronger than you. Now that Chief Jean had voluntarily given up the corner of the judo uniform, she would definitely seize the opportunity to fight back. Lucy was relieved after hearing this and told Maya to do her best, and asked her what to do about young counselor. However, Joy was glued to young counselor at the moment, because she was afraid that if there was a problem with the project proposal, it would affect her getting promoted. Joy kept comforting young counselor, telling her not to feel bad, because after all, you didn't want to steal the project. Work is work after all. You did nothing wrong. When young counselor said she envied Maya for having such a good friend in Joy, Joy actually hugged young counselor's arm and said she wanted to be her good sister too. She said she would not be as clumsy as Maya. That day, young counselor looked at Maya with a guilty face, but Maya politely greeted her. When the few of them sat down to discuss the project, Joy specially gave Maya a flower to show their sisterly love. Although Maya was very reluctant, young counselor still took the initiative to ask Maya to share it with Joy, especially some new ideas in the project. Recalling that in his previous life, Mark had been disgraced when he assaulted a flight attendant while on a business trip, Maya boldly proposed that everything about the project be named after Mark. Jack was shocked to hear this. Out of respect for Maya's decision, he resolutely agreed to implement it. With Mark's dad's food successfully launched online, people of all ages became deeply involved. The implementation of the project was a major success, and Mark was also sought after and became a celebrity. He was overwhelmed with joy at the same time as he reaped the rewards of fame and fortune. He happily asked Chief Jean, who had suggested using himself for publicity. It was a stroke of genius. It was obvious that Maya had recommended it, but Chief Jean took the credit for himself. Mark was overwhelmed by the praise and couldn't think of anything to say. Soon after, Maya saw an announcement that Mark was going on a business trip abroad. She was engrossed in reading it when Tom startled her. Tom suggested that Joy and he had not got together for a long time and they should catch up. He also said that Maya would only be breathing in more exhaust fumes if she kept running after buses. Maya said she just hoped what she was doing would pay off soon. Obviously, Tom and Joy froze in place. They could only awkwardly say, "Let's get some fried chicken." However, Tom bought Joy's favorite soy sauce fried chicken. In order not to disturb the two of them, Maya left first, saying she had to go out on a business trip. Before leaving, she also recommended that Tom and Joy eat by the window because the atmosphere there was superb. Soon it was the day Mark boarded the plane. Guess he's already on the plane. Maya called him directly and told him that the group's cooking bag project was originally his own, and now he had to argue the significance of the part that excluded his own credit. Sure enough, upon hearing this, Mark was furious, and after hanging up the phone, Maya wholeheartedly hoped that Mark would lose his temper. And Mark lived up to expectations. Just because he saw a passenger sitting next to his seat, he scolded the flight attendant. After lecturing the flight attendant, Mark called Chief Jean again and loudly questioned him. "Didn't you handle Maya properly?" Mark threw the tissue on the floor. He then started picking on the business class cabin chief and beat him up. His lack of manners and bottomless pit was also filmed by an enthusiastic passenger and posted online. After this battle, Mark became completely toxic in everyone's eyes. Not only was he disgraced and removed from office, the company also urgently withdrew all products with Mark's photo on them and issued an apology. Chief Jean was even summoned to a disciplinary committee by the company for taking away the Maya project, who had achieved great success in this battle. was relaxing on the rooftop listening to music, while Jack celebrated with her as soon as he could. Because he had accidentally dropped his phone to the ground, Jack said he liked listening to their songs after seeing the song list. But Maya soon realized something was wrong, because the song Spring Day was released in 2017, and the other song was released in 2020, and the current time was 2013. Maya and Jack knew each other's identities as reborners because of the songs, because there was no longer any need to hide. Maya tells Jack that they must now get Joy and Tom married, or else she will marry Tom herself, and die of cancer at the hands of her best friend and her husband. Jack confesses that after he was reborn, he didn't do much, except ask Enho to attend the class reunion to help clear up misunderstandings. And, when Maya asks, he says that he knows what happened at the barbecue restaurant, because he attended Maya's funeral. Maya immediately asks how her funeral was. Jack lies and says that many people were very sad, and saw Maya slowly with tears in her eyes. Jack suggested changing the place to continue the conversation, which would probably go on for a long time, and then he took Maya back home. At first, Maya was a little embarrassed, but when she saw the familiar kitten, she gradually let her guard down, because she thought about the car accident that would happen 10 years later. Jack tentatively asked Maya if those things could be avoided, and what would happen if they were avoided, such as breaking up with Tom or cutting off ties with Joy. But Maya said that was all in the past. But as soon as Tom heard that they were going to break up, he went crazy. If they really did break up, Maya would probably die 10 years early. After hearing Maya say that she had also planned to do the same thing, but that the reality of the economic conditions did not allow it, Jack bluntly said that he could spare no effort to help now. Maya said that originally there was a burn scar on his arm from a scalding accident, but because Jack had saved her in this life, that exact same scar had been transferred to Jack's arm accordingly. Maya said that what was meant to happen would happen after all, unless you push your fate onto someone else. Jack recalled that he had died in a car accident in his previous life. He felt restless. His thoughts then returned to before he was reborn, when he had placed Maya's ashes alone and was about to drive away. He found that the car would not start. In his grief, he could only helplessly pound on the steering wheel, and as he angrily got out of the car, he happened to meet an empty taxi, and the driver was Maya's father. The father said that he had planned to go off duty today, but then he had a hunch that there would be a customer and came. He saw that Jack was very unhappy and asked if he had lost something precious, when Jack said that he had had a few chances, but at that time he did not know his own mind and could only miss it again and again. Now that he knew about her death, he regretted it. His father directly asked him if he were given another chance. Would he firmly grasp it? Jack was silent for a long time after hearing this. The lawn where he first met Maya. The first day he became Maya's boss. And the scene when he accidentally bumped into Maya while she was in a relationship all came flooding back to him. Soon Jack's thoughts were drawn back to Maya. She said she had been killed by Tom and Joy and had come back to life. She wanted to know how Jack had returned to the present 10 years ago. It was obvious that she had been in a car accident and come back to life. But Jack lied and said that he had fallen asleep and opened his eyes again in 2013. The next day young counselor went to work as usual but suddenly received a call from her husband. Even though her husband was at home playing games, he lied and said that he had an interview at 7 p.m. and couldn't take their daughter to cram school. He even pointed out young counselor's sore spot and said, "Your cooking kit case also failed, so why do you still go to work?" She remembered that it was Maya who had first invited her to participate in the project. Later, Chief Jean threatened her that if she didn't do as she was told, the one who would become section chief through the project would be Maya. Young counselor felt that life was just too terrible, but then she saw a familiar face, because Mark, the executive flight attendant, had been fired. Grandpa Jack had arranged for a new personnel manager. Coincidentally, the manager and Yang counselor were old acquaintances, and soon Jack received a call from Lucy. "I heard that Manager Wu was parachuted in." He immediately changed his clothes and rushed to the company, because Manager Wu had always been the leader of Grandpa's direct strategic planning office. As long as he came, he was bound to stir up a storm. When he saw Jack arrive, Manager Wu looked calm and said that he would obey the chairman's every command. Manager Wu picked up Maya's personnel file and teased Jack about his surprisingly ordinary taste. Then Manager Wu even told Jack about the fact that he had taken Maya back to his place last night. He didn't believe that a man and a woman alone together at night was purely for business, seeing that he had even been followed. Jack was instantly furious, but what made him even more angry was that Manager Wu had decided to give the planning case for the quick cook meal kit to young counselor, because he wasn't sure if Jack had been blinded by this woman Maya before the rewards and punishments were determined. Young counselor was obviously a better choice to take charge of the case. As for Maya, she could temporarily participate as a team member. Jack knew that this was all his grandfather's idea. He didn't argue much. Before leaving, he specifically told Manager Wu, "If you can stay unaffected by public opinion, not be blinded by women, and maintain a very objective perspective, then you will come to the conclusion that Maya is very suitable to take charge of this project." Soon Jack held a team meeting arranged by Manager Wu and announced that the family instant cooking kit project would be restarted, with Yang as team leader. Maya, Tom and Joy as team members. Obviously Maya was very surprised to hear the result, and as soon as the meeting ended she went to find Jack, because Joy had become a team member of the instant cooking kit project. Lucy, who didn't really care, suddenly realized that there were now 3 agents on the project, and obviously Jack's brother wanted to withdraw himself, and the more unhappy Lucy became, the more complacent Joy became. To celebrate Joy's imminent promotion ahead of Lucy, Tom took Joy out for a special treat and bought her a bottle of strawberry milk. Then Tom mentioned that the company was organizing a team building activity. When Joy said she had never been to one before, Tom explained that the activity was originally held twice a year, but Jack selfishly cancelled it ever since he became the manager. Joy didn't say anything in response, but said the milk was delicious. Then she let Tom try the milk. The blissful lovers were oblivious. Jack went to great lengths to punish them for Maya's sake. That night, Jack drove alone to the riverside. Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his head. He remembered Maya once saying that every time her father gave her pocket money, he would draw a heart on it in order to give Maya true happiness. Jack went directly to the restaurant where Enho was. He asked Enho right away if he knew the 2 songs Maya liked. Jack tried to use this to confirm whether Enho was the reincarnation of Maya, and after making sure that he knew nothing about it, he actually told Enho, "You have a long and happy life, and you should still have a long time left." Looking at this strange love rival in front of him, Enho was full of question marks. It was almost time for him to go home from work, but Jack had fallen asleep on the table due to drinking too much. Luckily, Lucy arrived in time. Enho hurriedly explained that he had dialed your phone number without knowing. Lucy said that Jack had never drunk so much. Maybe it was because he was approaching middle age. In a daze, Enho realized that Lucy's voice seemed very familiar. He remembered hearing it when he was talking to Maya on the phone. Enho then tentatively asked her if she knew Maya. Looking at the familiar names of cakes in the shop, Lucy was extremely excited. She did not hold back in praising Enho for making delicious cakes. The 2 people who had just met for the first time could hardly hide their inner joy. Meanwhile, Maya, who was working overtime at home, was full of Jack's words. "You know what I can do." She picked up her phone and wanted to call Jack. However, there was no answer on the other end. Early the next morning, Jack was practicing shooting in the backyard. However, his aunt brought a bowl of dried fish soup to the table, which was unusual. She knew that Jack had been drinking on an empty stomach and was carried home by Lucy. His aunt reminded him that this food was good for the stomach and told him that his grandfather was looking for him. Even though Jack guessed that his grandfather was looking for him for something bad, he still went over there. Sure enough, as soon as he met, Grandpa said that he smelled strongly of alcohol and handed him a newspaper, saying that Eula had handled the Mark executive matter very well, and that Grandpa hoped Jack would go and meet with him. He also said that he had already spoken with Eula's father, and that Jack knew that Grandpa wanted Jack to marry Eula. Grandpa knew that Jack and Manager Wu had had a falling out over the cooking bag project, and that Jack was determined to get rid of everyone around him who was close to him. But Grandpa still hoped that Jack would do his best to keep Manager Wu and make him his own man, because Manager Wu is of such value. In addition, Grandpa understands that Eula and Jack have no affection for each other, but because that marriage was an agreement between the 2 families, it is especially rude to unilaterally overturn the agreement. Grandpa hoped that Jack would show 100% sincerity and handle it well, but Jack said he didn't want to meet with the other party. Obviously, Grandpa was very puzzled by this, but Jack didn't say much and turned away. He knew that his time had ended the day of the car accident, but at least this time, after being reborn, he could still protect Maya. Meanwhile, Maya heard the discussion about stocks and was very nervous. She heard Tom say that he regretted selling the stocks for charity. Luckily, the other stocks were still rising, so they didn't break up. Maya hurriedly turned on the computer to check. She discovered that the stocks she bought had risen 700%. But just as she was surprised and happy, Tom shouted at her to go out. Joy, who had witnessed Maya's stock rise, quietly invested in it. Tom said that the day he used Maya's credit card to eat with Joy, his mind was full of Maya. Maya knew that something was wrong. Sure enough, the next second Tom started to borrow money, because he had to do something bad with Joy before marrying Maya again, and that would cost a lot of money. Maya naturally guessed Tom's little mind. She lied and said that the money had all been used to buy insurance. If the contract was cancelled now, they might not even get half of it back, but in 10 years, they could increase it by 10. Obviously, Tom was furious when he heard this. He angrily called Maya a complete idiot. He knew the insurance money was a lie, but why did she buy it anyway? Seeing that Tom even muttered about selling the stock he bought would soon go bankrupt and plummet, Maya had to say she had a savings deposit that was about to expire and could be used to stop Tom from selling now. It was also at this time that Maya suggested not meeting in the evening, but going on a weekend outing with Joy. When Joy arrived that day, she ignored Maya and started showing affection for Tom. As the 3 of them lay together, Maya felt that she and Tom and Joy must have had a special connection. One had been by her side since high school, and the other had entered her life the moment she started working. But as she looked at Joy by her side, all Maya could think about was her past life, when she and Tom had conspired to persecute each other. Seeing that Tom was trying to hug her from a distance, Maya sat up in alarm and lied that there seemed to be the word mosquito in the word bed. As soon as she heard this, Joy immediately looked like a little bird, which aroused Tom's desire to protect her. Little did she know that this also triggered Maya's memories of her past life. She remembered that once Tom also did this to repel mosquitoes for her. Obviously, Joy was a little jealous, looking at the young couple cycling by the roadside. Maya also remembered the scene when Tom once taught her to ride a bicycle. At that time, the two of them were extremely sweet, but now it was extremely ridiculous. In order not to disturb Tom and Joy's enjoyment, Maya got up immediately after receiving a phone call and left. As soon as she left, Tom saw someone riding a bicycle, and after hearing Joy say that she couldn't ride a bicycle, Tom immediately offered to be her teacher. Maya, after leaving the scene of the dispute, told the person on the phone that she had just had an opportunity to get away, and it was a good thing that you called. Enho didn't pay attention when he heard this, but said that he was downstairs at Maya's company, and hoped that Maya could come by. He then gave Maya flowers. Enho said that he had recently changed jobs and was working near the company, so he stopped by. Before leaving, he repeatedly invited Maya to drop by the store when she was free. In fact, Enho did not work at a nearby store at all. He had specially rushed over to see Maya. At the same time, the sweet scene of him giving Maya flowers happened to be seen by Jack. The way the two of them joked instantly made him feel jealous. But before he could say anything, Maya came over on her own initiative. After all, it was the weekend. Jack didn't understand why Maya had come to the company, and learned that Maya was trying to set up a date between Joy and Min. Jack then relaxed his guard and told her that when he took over the group 8 years later, he had made 2 mistakes. One was with Cloud Air and the other was with Kellett Travel, and that although his grandfather had wanted him to keep Manager Wu by his side, for some reason, the moment he became chairman, Manager Wu suddenly handed in his resignation, and the reason for this is still unknown. Jack said that if you ever need help, I will never say no. Seeing this affectionate man, Maya was momentarily lost in thought. What was even more surprising was that Jack ran to Enho's shop again that night. Enho thought he was there to get drunk again, but before he could ask why, he heard Jack say his purpose for coming here was to observe what kind of person Enho is, whether he will be unfaithful and whether he is qualified to become a stable land. Enho didn't understand why Jack said this. Unexpectedly, Jack told him that he would not drink again in the future, because he has something that he must do. And as soon as he started work the next day, he announced that in order to improve teamwork in the marketing department, a company team building event would be held. But before he could finish his sentence, Jack's eyes were fixed on Maya, and he went straight back to the office with a blank mind. Hearing the news, Tom and Joy were full of expectations, but Lucy looked like she had nothing to live for. Luckily, good news soon followed. Maya volunteered to young counselor that for this team building event, why not let Lucy prepare it? After all, she was already in a low mood because she was unable to participate in the Instant Chef Bag project. Yang counselor immediately agreed, and, as expected, Lucy was overjoyed to hear the good news. It was soon the day of the team building event. Lucy had carefully prepared a mini-game for everyone. The person who won first place could sleep in the RV that night, while the others slept in tents and sleeping bags in order of ranking. But at this time, Joy whispered in Tom's ear that she couldn't sleep in the middle of nowhere. While waiting for Lucy to help Jack with his work, Joy immediately changed her face and said that when she learned that Lucy was the head of the preparation committee, she felt uneasy. Fortunately, Maya and young counselor's optimistic reassurance turned the situation around. Unexpectedly, when she saw the optimistic Maya, Tom said she was blindly confident in her own abilities. To avoid arousing their suspicions, Maya had to explain that everyone has to die sometime. Then, under Tom's show of strength, she stayed behind at camp to enjoy the spoils. Tom, who kept saying that he was awesome, was just getting involved in the game when he was bullied by his colleagues. Maya remembered that in his previous life, Tom got the 5th-class sleeping bag because he was useless. He himself managed to get the 4th-class sleeping bag and slept in the tent. As for Joy, she actually got the 1st-class sleeping car with the help of Chief Jean, because she was curious about why Joy always got the best. Maya decided to observe her closely. As a result, she was suddenly pulled behind the tent by Joy. By eavesdropping on the conversations between Lucy and Jack and others, she learned that the 1st-class sleeping bag of the girls' team was hidden in the middle of the water. What's interesting is that Joy's first reaction was that the water was too cold to go in. If Chief Jean were still here, she would ask him for help. Joy then turned to Maya and Tom and asked if they could swim. Maya knew that Joy would do anything to get what she wanted. Naturally, she wouldn't give up on Tom as a lifeline. After parting with Joy, Maya was full of thoughts. Why did Joy, 10 years later, get everything she wanted, while she was left to die alone? She looked up and saw Jack walking over. She recalled Jack's repeated confessions to her, and his promise to help her with anything. Coincidentally, Joy had just said that there was no need to take the hard road, that one could simply ask for help. Maya told Jack that she had heard that Lucy had hidden the first flag in the stream. Could you help me? Jack agreed without hesitation. He turned to go, but Maya stopped him in time. She hoped that Jack would just maintain their current relationship. She said that she knew that Jack wanted to do everything for her, but she didn't need any of that. Instead, she hoped that she could try. Jack realized that Maya was so strong that it hurt. He hurriedly took a step forward and showed the heart-shaped mark on his collarbone. He confessed that he was her father and that she could use her allowance as she wished. She didn't need to care about his feelings. Obviously, Maya was shocked by this, but after pondering for a long time, she told Jack that the allowance didn't have to be used. "I just want to talk to the allowance." Seeing Maya's determination, Jack, who really couldn't persuade her, had to give up. But as soon as he returned to camp, he heard Lucy talking to young counselor. "There is a place more than 2 meters deep and covered in moss over there by the stream, which is very dangerous." While the two were contacting the lifeguard, Jack hurried back. At that moment, Ziyuan had already gone into the water. Then she slipped and fell in. Luckily, Jack arrived in time and rescued her. Maya once again said that she would not do everything on her own like Joy. At this moment, Jack also remembered Maya and asked her if there was anything she wanted to do. He remembered Maya saying that ever since her father died, her life had been like being on a boat. It was obviously steady, but the boat kept swaying, which was very unsettling. Maya wanted stability and longed to set foot on land. So after a long silence, Jack finally said the answer. Joy went to find Tom and asked him to help her. Stepping into the cold stream, she took the #1 flag, and thus fulfilled her wish to live in the camper. Joy looked at the thorns beside her, and an evil thought suddenly sprang to mind. Just as Tom cursed his herniated disc, he was suddenly attracted by a familiar voice. He hurried over. Joy told Tom with a grievance that she seemed to have been hooked by a tree branch. Joy's fierce maneuvering made Tom's mind hot in an instant. His desire bursting, he immediately wanted to take Joy back to the camp. Unexpectedly, however, he was told that the wound had already been coated with saliva. It was okay, but she was afraid that it would hurt when she went into the water to get the first flag. She hoped Tom could help with the hard labor. Seeing the delicate beauty, Tom agreed without hesitation. However, as the two of them happily arrived at the stream, they discovered that the first flag had already been taken. With no choice, they had to turn back. In a daze, Tom glanced at the necklace Joy was wearing. He couldn't help but praise the necklace, saying, "It's really beautiful." At that moment, Joy, who nodded in agreement, didn't know how terrible Tom's real purpose in buying the necklace was. Meanwhile, Maya had been sneezing because she had gone into the water to get the first flag. Luckily, Jack safely brought her back to camp. When she heard Lucy and young counselor praise her for being brave, Maya didn't respond but instead asked them what it meant when someone said they wanted to be the land. Lucy told Maya that if she really couldn't understand, she should just ask. After hearing Maya say that it wasn't convenient, young counselor, who thought that Tom and Maya were having a conflict, blindly said that couples must always say what's on their mind. Especially since you won first place in the camper competition today, you can invite Tom over tonight and talk it over. But as she watched Lucy and young counselor take advantage of the opportunity to chat, Maya's expression slowly turned cold, because she absolutely could not be with Tom tonight. Maya remembered that in her previous life, on this night, she had won the 4th tent. Tom, who was sleeping in the 5th sleeping bag, came over in the middle of the night. He said he really couldn't sleep and begged Maya repeatedly to go out and play with him. Unable to withstand his fierce attack, Maya gave in. Unexpectedly, that night she and Tom got drunk and carried on, and then something indescribable happened. Maya therefore concluded that if she slept in the camper van this time, then the one sleeping in the tent would be Joy, and tonight would definitely be a good time for the two of them to do something naughty. In order to get Joy and Tom together as soon as possible, Maya went out of the campsite on the grounds that there was not enough time to comply with the rules of the game, although she was just outside when Jack scolded her for the dangerous scene where she went into the water. But Maya responded with a smile, knowing that she would not drown. The only thing she was afraid of was getting a second chance, only to end up exactly the same as in her past life. The two then went for a walk in the forest. Jack was curious to know if Maya now had the first flag. Did that mean that the fate of their past lives had changed? Maya said she wasn't sure, but one thing she was sure of was that Tom had borrowed money from her and bought a necklace before the team building event, and he was a simple-minded person. Buying the necklace was his killer move to get to sleep with girls. Maya remembered when Tom gave her the necklace. She was happy like an idiot, and then willingly handed over all of Jack's money. Hearing this, Jack's eyes were full of concern, but when Maya said that she was now getting away from all that and just wanted something better, Jack's frown eased a little. Learning that Maya needed Joy to get the 4th flag and that she had to get Tom drunk as much as possible, Jack promised her that he would do his best to help. Before leaving, Maya couldn't help but ask Jack again if he wanted to be a local dog or a local tyrant. Jack smiled and didn't say anything, but turned and left. Meanwhile, Joy fought her way through the crowd and finally got the 4th flag on her own. She was curious as to who had taken the first flag. She really couldn't think of anyone else who would go into the water. But then Joy turned around and saw Maya holding the first flag. Maya sensed danger all around her and immediately went on guard. After looking around to make sure no one was there, she carefully hid the first flag under her clothes. However, before she could catch her breath, Joy rushed up directly. She was tearing at the Smart Aid name tag like crazy, but she was instead grabbed by the hair. The two immediately started fighting, and after giving Joy a good thrashing, Maya asked with a smile if she wasn't angry, as it was all just a game. Maya then left without looking back, leaving Joy looking at the bruises on her arm and seething with anger. However, as soon as Maya reached the road, she suddenly stopped and couldn't understand why she cared so much about Joy. In the end, she couldn't resist her conscience and turned back. Strangely, Joy had disappeared. Just as she was helplessly returning, she was suddenly pulled by the hair. Joy threw Maya to the ground. She said triumphantly that she had guessed Maya would come back. It was soon time to reveal the answer in the evening. Maya and Joy, sitting by the campfire, looked calm. It seemed that they both wanted to win the camper van. Maya and Joy were also engaged in a psychological battle in the eyes of everyone's expectations. But in the end, it was Maya who stood up. A happy smile instantly spread across her face. It turned out that Joy had grabbed Maya's pants after she tried to leave after grabbing the first flag. She asked Joy if a camper van was not better than a luxury tent, since the camper van was right in front of them. Why would they look for a luxury tent? Maya and Joy fought again in the hateful gaze of Joy. This time Maya didn't hold back and won, but this made Joy hate her even more. That night, she saw Maya washing her hands and came over to confess that she was very picky about beds. Why did she have to compete with her? Seeing Maya trying to leave, Joy poured water on her directly. Joy questioned her why she always had to compete with her. Maya replied, "I hate you now, because you always whine and pretend to be cute." Looking at the despicable Maya, she confessed that she had made mistakes in the past, but she would never do that again from now on, because she would soon marry Tom and have a new family. "I can't be tied to you forever." As she watched Maya's back as she left, Joy immediately had a malicious thought. Joy found Tom drunk in the middle of the night. She deliberately reached out to touch the necklace around her neck. Sure enough, Tom was instantly enchanted. Driven by lust, he went to Joy's tent. Tom tentatively asked if she wanted to have an in-death exchange with him. Unexpectedly, Joy deliberately showed the necklace again. Blushing, her heart pounding, she whispered that she was distracted. Joy's coyness made Tom stare in awe. Seeing that the playboy could no longer wait, Joy also took the initiative to press her face against his. The two no longer hesitated, and they embraced, starting to nibble on each other. Maya, who was not far away, saw the whole scene. She recalled that Joy had once said that she only needed herself, and that Tom would always add sweetness to her otherwise uneventful life. But then the two people she loved most in the world joined forces to kill her. Maya was overcome with grief. Suddenly, she felt darkness closing in. Jack pulled her back carefully and led her away from the scene of the crime. As he watched Maya, consumed by pain, he reminded her once again that once you step onto the mat, you can't care about your partner's wounds or check your own. You can only think of two things: that I want to fight, and that I will definitely win. That night, Maya cried for a long time. Jack stayed with her for a long time. When Maya calmed down, she said that she had always liked Joy. She was proud to have such a beautiful and kind friend by her side, and couldn't help but want to protect her. Even though Tom's behavior was really bad, she could put up with it and trusted him unconditionally, and even entered into marriage with him. Jack knew that Maya was very confused right now, and comforted her that everything was over now. So let them two continue to develop. You only need to know one thing, and that is to win yourself. Unconsciously, Jack gently placed his hand on Maya's hand. Maya sighed, saying that it had been a long time since someone had touched her hand so gently. Jack got up and told Maya that her life was like a novel written fluently with her right hand. There were no worries or obstacles, not even conflicts. He was very happy to be back in 2013, chatting with Maya like this. He was also grateful to have Maya by his side. On the way back to the camp, Maya asked Jack again what he had said he wanted to become the other day. He would help him achieve it. But Jack only said that he was willing to do everything without asking for anything in return. The relationship between the two, who had been chatting and laughing the whole way, also slowly grew closer without them noticing, because the whole team building activity went very smoothly. Young counselor and Lucy went for a walk in the evening. After all, Lucy was unable to participate in the meal kit project. Young counselor expressed his deep apologies. However, Lucy said that the original sin was Chief Jean. Jack is too old-fashioned. She also said optimistically that if it weren't for this team-building activity, the atmosphere wouldn't have been so good. But as the two were about to walk back, they heard a familiar panting sound. Lucy thought there was a rutting animal in the woods and wanted to go take a look. Young counselor, however, pulled her away on the grounds that the thing was dangerous. The next morning, Tom appeared in front of Maya's camper. He said that he didn't care at all about his boyfriend sleeping in a sleeping bag. How heartless. He didn't even worry if your boyfriend would get cold. Did something happen? Maya confessed that she had taken a heating pad with her, but found no one there. Obviously, Tom looked guilty, but he shamelessly claimed that he had gone to the toilet by himself. He also questioned why Maya hadn't left the heating pad behind. Her response was poor. Joy also saw the scene where Tom talked to Ziyuan. She instantly looked fierce, because she didn't sleep last night. Young counselor asked her where she went in the tent. Joy said she was drunk and fell asleep over there. Her luggage was left here. But then her thoughts immediately returned to last night. She and Tom had just finished their work and were getting dressed. Tom reminded her not to tell Maya about it. After all, you two are good friends, and it will be difficult to get along in the future. Maya witnessed Joy and Tom's night of debauchery. She didn't blow the whistle but continued to get along with the two as if nothing had happened. However, things did not develop as expected. Usually when Maya senses something is amiss, her boyfriend will initiate a breakup. Tom, who had been keeping secrets from her and was seeing someone else, was the first. On the way back from the team building, Maya and Jack kept thinking about how to get Tom and Joy to get married quickly. Joy kept reflecting on the fact that she had revealed herself to Tom, but in the end she still lost to Maya. When she got home that night, she found all the photos and erased Maya's face from each one. Joy focused all her attention on Tom. Tom, on the other hand, was beaming with joy after successfully wooing Joy. He showed up at the gym and boasted to his best friend about his masculine charm. But soon, the smile on his face disappeared. He deliberately avoided Joy at work, but was unexpectedly assigned to go out in the field with her to plan a supermarket tasting event together. Feeling guilty, he asked Maya why she wasn't going with Joy. Isn't it better for best friends to go together? Maya said that they can't let a quarrel affect their work. Seeing that Tom even stood up to argue, Jack happened to walk over. Tom, who didn't want to offend the minister, had to obediently follow the arrangement. The next second, Joy pretended to be fine and took the initiative to invite Tom to go out to work. Before leaving, she handed Maya a letter. Hearing young counselor praise Joy for being beautiful, capable and serious, Maya didn't say anything and just opened the letter. Joy wrote in it, "I'm sorry I didn't understand how you felt. Since you were everything to me, I ignored your feelings. I just kept believing that you loved me. I never thought about whether I was worthy of love. So everything you said, everything you felt, was all my fault. But can you forgive the not-so-good me? You are too precious to me. I can't live without you." Reading these sincere words, Maya almost wavered, if not because she knew the ending in advance. Then he handed the letter to Jack, telling him that Joy might be serious. Meanwhile, En-ho, who was going to work as usual, looked at the empty table. He suddenly remembered what Jack had said that night when he was drunk. "Move your face away, En-ho, or I'll be too envious." He also said that his life was like a novel written smoothly and continuously with his right hand. Maya was the only one who wrote with her left hand. That line was short and crooked. The content and notes were a mess, so he always looked at it with great care. Even if he threw the novel on the ground, he would turn the pages by himself. It was always impressive. And this sentence Jack said became a problem that En-ho still couldn't figure out. On the other side, Tom suddenly realized that Joy seemed to be deliberately avoiding him. He was puzzled, but Joy suddenly glanced back. During the tasting session, Joy even used an unusual tactic. She deliberately dropped the butter on her hands and then boldly provoked in front of Tom. While Tom was assigning tasks to the supermarket staff, Joy deliberately came up to him again, and her flirtatious behavior aroused Tom's desire instantly. After hearing Joy tell someone that she was going to get the allergen board, Tom could no longer control himself and went over to Joy and asked her what she was doing in the warehouse. Unexpectedly, Joy wrote a line of words and handed it over. After reading it, Tom's face was shocked. Joy gave a smile at the corner of her mouth and then pushed Tom into the warehouse. The two seemed to be on fire and ready to ignite. It turned out that what Joy wrote in her notebook was exactly what I want to sleep with you. Under the strong hormonal impact, Tom and Joy were stuck together. However, at the critical moment, Joy stopped Tom. Joy said, "Are you just trying to toy with me?" Seeing that Joy had said this much, Tom bluntly said that he would just live with her and Maya in the future. After all, they are like sisters, and capable men are sitting on both sisters. Seeing that Tom had completely lost control of himself, Joy Jing directly pushed him away. It was also at this time that she happened to receive a phone call. An old man is allergic to pine nuts, but there was no allergen label at the tasting site. Thinking back, Joy was originally in charge of this product. Tom had to take all the responsibility for her. They rushed the old man to the hospital, and then offered to compensate for the loss with a huge sum, as long as the family did not make a fuss about it at the company. Seeing the sincerity of the two, the family agreed to settle privately. Unexpectedly, the unrepentant Joy even asked Tom behind his back why he was not careful when there was a risk of allergies. Tom didn't say anything, but pretended to be magnanimous, saying that anything that can be solved with money is the easiest. He bragged to Joy that he had made a lot of money from stock trading. However, the next second, the good news of bankruptcy came from that stock. Maya smiled when she saw this news. She knew that Tom's revenge was coming. Sure enough, as soon as she went to work the next day, Tom found Maya and kept crying about being poor. He also said that he might not be able to get back any money now. The incompetent him even started to lose his temper at Maya, and told her that he had borrowed money from credit and loan sharks, and if he couldn't pay back the money, he would really lose his life. But before he could finish his sentence, Maya pretended to receive a call from young counselor and left, leaving Tom to vent in the meeting room. But Maya wasn't talking to young counselor on the phone. she was talking to Jack. Jack reminded Maya to be careful in case Tom did something extreme. Unexpectedly, the next second, Tom asked Joy to meet him at the warehouse. He repeatedly lamented, "Do our destinies have to be a threesome?" He told Joy that he was going to marry Maya, and that if he had the time, he would love Joy to no end. But now fate had put the brakes on. Joy said she would not tell anyone about the scandal. Although Tom was puzzled by Joy's behavior, that night he still asked Maya out. He knew that Maya's biggest dream was to have a family. Tom came right out and said that he had planned to marry Maya next year, but now he could only try the water temperature of the Han River. When Maya said that she didn't need to worry about getting married because she could always earn more money later, Tom suddenly became anxious. He told Maya, "You're getting on in years. Shouldn't you be thinking about having children?" Seeing Maya's hesitant expression, Tom suddenly became furious. He questioned Maya, "You shouldn't be so materialistic. You shouldn't refuse just because I'm poor." Maya didn't say anything, just smiled. Then she asked Jack out on a date. She said that her life was really ridiculous. Tom actually wanted to marry her because he didn't have a dime. Maya remembered that in her previous life, Tom had done the same thing. He took money from his parents to invest and marry Maya, but the investment failed, leaving Maya in debt. Maya had thought that since she had chosen Tom, she would work things out together, but she had never imagined that Tom was a jealous, selfish scumbag. Before she knew it, Maya and Jack had arrived at the school. Looking at the familiar surroundings, Maya remembered the kitten she had kept when she was a student. She had told Jack about the kitten when they practiced judo, and said that she hadn't brought the kitten home because she was afraid she couldn't take care of it. But one day the kitten suddenly disappeared. Maya felt so much remorse because of this. Jack said that during his military leave, he saw a stray cat on the road in front of the school. Seeing the oncoming vehicles, he quickly jumped over to protect the kitten. As a result, the cat was saved, but he slipped and broke his ligament. Learning that the cat in Jack's house was the stray cat she had fed, Maya hurried over and watched the cats interact sweetly. Jack told Maya the code for his front door, so that she could come and see the kittens whenever she wanted. Maya remembered that in her previous life, when Tom proposed, he had only prepared a few balloons and a sandwich, and his perfunctory approach was unparalleled. Now, whenever Maya thought about it, she got goosebumps. Although Jack didn't say a word, he quietly began to make preparations for the proposal. The next morning, Grandpa received a document from Manager Wu. Jack's research and development of drone flight technology has been a great success, and now he finally has the opportunity to put it into practice. Although Grandpa really doesn't understand what Jack is up to, Jack still began the drone demonstration, as one after another of the colorful little machines took to the sky. The name of Maya's favorite song was displayed on it. Soon Tom appeared before Maya, saying that everything today was specially prepared for her. Maya didn't hesitate this time and accepted the proposal from the scumbag amidst the applause of the crowd, because only in this way would Joy become even more jealous of herself and more eager to steal Tom away. It turned out that Tom had urgently needed to marry Maya. The money tree. After failing in the stock market, he then searched on his phone for how to set up the proposal scene. Looking at the sky-high price of 39,000 won, he really couldn't help but feel distressed. Just then, Jack walked over and told him that in response to recent events involving Chief Jean and Mark, the company would provide a villa as a reward on Maya's birthday, because usually they only provide an apartment. Tom couldn't understand why the company was being so generous this time, but then he thought that Jack loved Maya dearly and was completely innocent. Tom, without thinking, patted Jack on the shoulder and told him that Maya only loved him. He was afraid of offending Jack, so he turned to him and smiled, saying that it would be better if everyone in the sales team came and threw a birthday party together. He also confessed that he was going to propose to Maya. The drone and light show at the proposal site were all surprises that Jack had prepared for Maya, although it felt a bit exaggerated. But Tom's vanity was greatly satisfied. After the celebration, Maya went to the beach alone to feel the breeze. Unexpectedly, Joy came up quietly and asked if she still couldn't forgive herself. Maya had obviously tried her best to calm her mind, but as soon as she saw Joy's face, her mind was filled with the terrifying scene of her and Tom plotting against her in a previous life. All of this made Maya accept. Unexpectedly, to Maya's surprise, Joy actually stood at the very edge of the sea. Then she jumped into the sea and took a cold shower. Maya really wanted Joy to pay for what she had done, but she still went down to save her. However, the terrifying thing was that Joy was holding Maya back from going back to shore, with a strange smile on her lips. When Jack arrived after hearing the commotion, Maya finally managed to go back to shore on her own, and learned that Joy had fallen asleep from the shock. Lucy was curious about how she had fallen. In a daze, Tom saw Jack carrying a cup of hot water for Maya, afraid that his girlfriend would be taken away. Tom hurriedly covered Maya with a blanket and listened to everyone praising Tom once again. Jack suggested that it was getting late and everyone should go back and rest, because Maya wanted to finish the hot water before going upstairs. So Tom went back to his room alone first, and that's when he noticed that Joy had been lying in bed for some time. Joy, in a good mood, told Tom that Maya had just jumped into the sea to save her and now it was your turn to make me happy. Facing the beautiful woman's initiative to throw herself into his arms, Tom naturally wouldn't miss the chance. Meanwhile, Jack realized that Maya was in a very bad mood. After asking around, he learned that Joy had jumped into the sea by herself. Maya said that her original idea was very simple. Tom was trash and Joy coveted his things. So as long as she made those two scumbags get married, she would become happy. But the reality seemed to be different. Jack could tell that Maya was panicking. He hurriedly took her hand to comfort her. But at that moment, Lucy came out looking for water. The two of them had no choice but to hide behind a pillar. As they got closer and closer, they could even hear each other's heartbeat. Soon, the two of them arrived on the cruise ship. Jack said that whenever he felt lost, he would come here to quietly empty his mind and gain the strength to move forward again. The next day, as soon as Maya started work, she deliberately showed off her large diamond ring. After everyone found out, she confessed that she was engaged to Tom. Maya had unknowingly portrayed Tom as a good man who dotes on his girlfriend. Jack, who had witnessed the whole thing, naturally knew the intention behind it. He simply said hello to Maya and then they got into the elevator together. Unexpectedly, as the crowd got crowded, their hands happened to touch. In an instant, Maya's face turned red and her mind was filled with the image of being hugged by Jack that night. Then she and Jack met on the rooftop. She said that the reason she announced her engagement to Tom was to prepare for the subsequent regretful engagement, because that way, when everything was revealed, Tom's career would definitely be hit hard. In addition, Maya also asked Jack to go to the department store with her one weekend, because this would be the first and last time she would have to empty Tom out. In the pantry, Tom told Joy that he would meet Maya's parents at a random time that weekend, because his mother would have little time since she was going to cooking class. Joy pretended to be a little glutton and asked what delicious food they would eat. Afterwards, she must make it up to her. The two of them flirting happened to be caught by young counselor. Young counselor has always thought that Joy is a good girl with a beautiful face and a kind heart. Without thinking too much, she asked the two of them if they were planning another surprise for Maya. Even Lucy and Maya rushed over when they heard the noise. Hearing Maya say that she shouldn't have higher expectations, Lucy, who understood what she meant, immediately told Tom that a good man will usually buy a girl a whole new outfit before meeting her parents. Seeing that things had come to this, Tom and Joy dared not refuse anymore. That night, Maya was counting which items in the house could be sold on a second-hand platform. Joy rang the doorbell. She gave Maya a pair of red high heels as a birthday present. Maya remembered that these were the shoes that Joy had pouted to her in a previous life, and asked her to buy her for her birthday. Moreover, she had worn these shoes the day she cheated on Tom. In addition, Joy said she wanted to give Maya something else as a wedding gift. Knowing that Maya couldn't cook, she suggested signing up for a cooking class at the department store together at the weekend. Maya remembered that Tom's mother had taken a class there in her previous life. She instantly understood that Joy wanted to give her the opportunity to make a fool of herself in front of Tom's mother. However, instead of refusing, Maya readily agreed. As soon as the two of them arrived at the door, they saw Tom's mother arguing angrily with the receptionist about being charged for parking. Her words were full of unreason and petty calculations. What made her even more unpleasant was that as soon as she came in, she pushed Maya to the side and said arrogantly that that was her place. Maya did not yield but deliberately argued with her, saying that everyone was paying for the class, so there was no such thing as anyone's place. As expected, Joy, who wanted to show her gentleness and consideration, quickly and sensibly pulled Maya aside. During the confrontation between Tom's mother and Maya, the cooking class officially began. Joy did her best to win over Tom's mother by demonstrating her knife skills. After a while, she really won praise from Tom's mother. In contrast, Maya deliberately slowed down, which was mocked by Tom's mother. At this speed, she wouldn't even have dinner tomorrow morning. Maya directly retorted that she was going to eat the next day afternoon. She also deliberately said that her boyfriend liked to cook and promised to cook for herself once in a while. Just then, the cooking teacher came to check on the progress. Seeing Tom's mother's face, which looked like she was licking a dog's ass, Maya looked on as if nothing had happened. She even made faces on purpose to make Tom's mother angry. The next second, the cooking teacher even took the initiative to praise Maya for her beautiful cooking. The exquisite plating obviously made Tom's mother admit defeat. However, she was not convinced and wanted to verify whether Maya's cooking was just superficial. She even directly grabbed a plate of the most difficult to prepare smoked radish shreds to taste it. Maya remembered that at this time in her previous life, she really couldn't cook, but under Tom's strict training, her cooking skills have long been perfect. She even knows exactly what flavors Tom likes. Watching Maya's smug smile, Joy's face was full of unwillingness. As soon as class was over, she asked Maya if she had secretly learned to cook. Maya, however, told her that she didn't have the time to learn this. She just wanted to present it beautifully, so she deliberately took her time. After buying the coffee, Joy asked Maya to go shopping with her. Maya just nodded and was about to say yes when she turned around and saw Tom. She quickly pretended to be generous and told Joy that Tom wanted to buy a parent's outfit for himself and hoped that Joy would go with him. Obviously, Tom instantly looked guilty. He claimed that he didn't know that Joy would also be shopping today. Maya naturally knew what the couple was thinking. In order to arouse Joy's jealousy, Maya took the initiative to hold Tom's arm and asked him when we were going to meet the parents, even though Tom didn't want to answer right away. He pretended to be calm and said it was about time. Seeing the loving couple, Joy had to retreat first, saying that she had an appointment. Before leaving, she didn't forget to say that she had already given Maya a birthday present and a wedding gift. Next time, she would definitely treat them to something to thank them for saving her life. Meanwhile, Jack was on the plane returning from a business trip to Japan. He hadn't planned to buy jewelry, but he suddenly remembered that Maya had said that Tom never gave her expensive necklaces. Jack looked at the necklace on the poster and a thought suddenly came to mind. On the other side, young counselor went to work overtime at the company as usual, but received a call from her daughter saying she was hungry. Although she didn't understand what her husband was doing on the weekend, she still hurriedly packed her work materials and took a taxi home. However, God always likes to joke. The anxious young counselor happened to encounter a major traffic jam. Just when she was at her wit's end, she happened to see a familiar face. Manager Wu was actually waiting at the traffic lights on a motorcycle, with Manager Wu escorting her. Yang counselor finally arrived home. Yang counselor's headlong rush home was also etched in Manager Wu's heart, and when she entered the house, she saw her husband feeding his daughter instant noodles. Yang counselor was about to scold her husband for playing around, but was instead asked why he had gone to the office overtime when he could come home early on the weekend. At that moment, her husband, who was lost in his own world, was unaware that his wife was feeling unwell with a sharp pain in her abdomen. After saying goodbye to Joy, Maya and Tom also started shopping like crazy in the mall. Unexpectedly, the first thing she did was rush to the counter where Tom had bought Joy that designer bag in her previous life. Looking at the price tag, Tom felt a pang of pain, but Maya said in front of the salesperson, "My future mother-in-law has very discerning taste." She knows Tom is a man whose body is dominated by his pride. After she gave her introduction, the salesperson even recommended more strongly. Naturally, Tom had to do whatever she said. After achieving her goal, Maya went into full shopping mode. She wanted nothing but designer tops and dresses. After half a day, Tom burst into tears. Maya remembered that when they met her parents in her previous life, Tom had blamed her for always buying cheap clothes online. He had also said that her mother had high standards and if she wasn't satisfied, there was no way they could get married. Maya then deliberately rubbed salt into Tom's wounds by saying, "This bag is really nice. I think I've finally become someone who's good enough for your parents." But Tom shamelessly asked Maya if she could pay for the meal since they were meeting the parents. But before he could finish his sentence, Enho called. Tom remembered that Enho was a chef and ran a 5-star restaurant. He even took the liberty of answering the call and told Enho that he wanted to meet the parents at his restaurant. Tom even asked if there was a discount or something. Without waiting for Enho to answer, Tom hung up rudely, unaware that Enho was sitting next to his big sister, who had bullied Maya. They really wanted Enho to ask Maya out to dinner to apologize. They had also been trying to think of something to make amends. Seeing that Tom had sent the date of the meal on Maya's phone, Enho had no choice but to tell his big sister that they could give a bigger red envelope as an apology. Maya then called Enho back, hoping that he would ignore Tom. However, Enho confessed that he would personally cook for them. Who could resist Maya? After all, she was his first love. Jack rushed to visit his hospitalized grandfather as soon as he returned from a business trip to Japan. Unexpectedly, the first thing his grandfather asked was, "Have you taken care of it?" After all, the marriage between Jack and Eula's families was a top priority. Now that there had been a unilateral breach of contract, there must be sincerity. Hearing his grandfather even say that Eula was 100 times better than Maya, his previously calm demeanor immediately turned serious as he implored his grandfather to spare Maya. He also said that this was only a personal emotional problem. His grandfather angrily called Jack a big fool. Maya has a boyfriend, but she still wants to love her. And Eula's family is well off and has everything they need. Jack didn't say anything in his defense, but instead asked his grandfather, "Did everything I did reach your ears? I heard Grandpa say that the company will need Jack to take care of and lead more than 600,000 employees for the next 30 years. Jack was silent again, because he knew that 10 years later, he would have already lost his life in a car accident, and Grandpa would have lost his only grandchild. Obviously, Grandpa was very surprised by Jack's unusual behavior, but what he didn't expect was that night Jack arrived at Maya's doorstep. He said that because the company had a logistics warehouse nearby, he stopped by to take a look. Realizing Maya's suspicious look, Jack simply confessed that he was lying. Looking at this innocent minister, Maya asked him if something had happened. Jack instead informed her that earlier you asked what I wanted to be. Although I have never thought about what I want to be, I have been decided what to do since I was born. So I have worked hard and studied for the company. Maya said, "At least you have achieved all your dreams now." Jack said, "Not really." Maya said when she first came back, she was also in the dark. She hated seeing Tom and Joy, but because she was determined not to be bullied in this life, she really knocked over the rice on Tom after that. She slowly saw more clearly, and letting Joy marry Tom was just a process after all. She has to become happy, meeting friends and doing things you like. Maya smiled and put her hand on top of his, under Jack's longing gaze. With their fingers interlocked, They looked like the happiest couple in the world. Soon it was the day Maya and Tom met the parents. Tom was only concerned about what house his mother would buy for him if she got married. His mother was furious at the thought of Tom being taken away by a worthless woman. She told Tom that he must arrive half an hour after the woman's party. Then she took out an ugly designer suit and forced Tom's father to wear it. Just then, Tom received a message from Joy saying that she was at the door. Fearing that his affair would affect his meeting the parents, Tom panicked. Unexpectedly, Joy came up and started flirting, saying that she just wanted to check if her things were intact. Then she deliberately got intimate with Tom in the car, to try to prove that Maya's things were hers, because it was rare to see the chef personally setting the table. The staff reminded Enho to leave these things to him. However, Enho insisted that today's guests were very important, and all he could think about in his words was Maya's appearance. Soon Tom arrived at the restaurant, and was surprised that Maya, who was usually punctual, had not yet shown up. He angrily called Maya and yelled at her what was taking so long. After hearing Maya say she was already at the door, Tom was about to lose his temper when he looked up and saw his parents walking in order to successfully marry Maya. He hurriedly lied that Maya had already arrived and was just going to the bathroom. The next second, Maya, fully armed, stepped through the door. Her exquisite dress directly made Tom's family stare in awe. Tom's mother's face fell as soon as she saw Maya. She realized that this woman was her nemesis. At the dinner table, she deliberately made things difficult for Maya, saying, "Your parents died young. You must have had no good upbringing." Unexpectedly, the usually gentle and well-mannered Maya spoke up and said, "My father died when I was 23, so I had a good upbringing, but my mother left home when I was 14, so she didn't have any influence on me. This should be a blessing, because her mother left because of an affair." Obviously, this shocked the Tom family. Tom's mother even reached for a tissue because she choked on her water. But Maya simply ignored her. She was so embarrassed that she could only smile with a suppressed anger and say, "Tom really has brought home a pretty amazing girl." In order to quickly get her mother to approve of the marriage and realize her grand dream of being supported by Maya, Tom kept praising Maya for being really considerate. But then he whispered to Maya, "Why aren't you wearing the clothes you bought while shopping the other day? And what's with this eagle wings outfit?" Mom immediately asked Tom if he had bought Maya clothes, hearing Maya even say proudly, "Thank you, Auntie, for raising Tom so well." Tom buying himself a whole set of clothes and helping to dress him up was really sweet. Mom's face turned black with anger when she heard this, because over the years, she had only received a single garment on the day Tom received his first salary. After trying hard to calm down, Tom's mother bluntly told Maya, "I'm not satisfied with you, and never thought I'd become family with someone like you. But after all, you don't have any adults around to teach you. As long as you're willing to learn now, that's fine." Facing the old woman's retreat, Maya pretended to be obedient and said she would definitely learn hard. After hearing that Tom's mother wanted her to clean, cook, do the housework and raise the children after marriage, Maya still greeted her with a smile and said she was very confident. But soon Tom's mother changed her smile and told Maya she would contact Maya at some point to go to the doctor together. After all, recently many women were unable to bear children. Tom's mother told Maya to bear in mind that in the future she should sincerely serve her elders, serve her husband, raise her children correctly, and be smart and capable at work. She also said that these were the obligations of a daughter-in-law and a wife. Obviously, Tom was also extremely satisfied with his mother's words, but soon he couldn't smile anymore. Maya said that she would quit her job soon and focus on doing housework and taking care of the elders at home. However, Tom's mother started acting up again and told Maya that daughters can't worship their parents and that her father should understand that having only daughters is his fault, and that's why everyone wants a son. Maya couldn't believe that Tom's mother dared to talk about her father like that, and at that moment, she finally couldn't hold back anymore. Maya asked Tom's mother if she was a judge and why she had convicted her father. Then, she ignored Tom's attempts to stop her and slammed her hand on the table, telling everyone not to get married. Then Maya walked out without looking back. Tom couldn't calm his parents down in time and hurriedly chased after her. At that moment, Maya was striding away with a smile on her face, ready to leave this place of conflict. Facing Tom's questioning, she said lightly that they should break up. After Tom held her shoulder, she wasn't fazed at all. Instead, she relied on the judo she had learned from Jack to fight back. Before Tom could react, she threw a shoulder throw. Maya lectured this scumbag in front of Tom's parents. Even Enho, who was watching, was shocked. At this moment, Maya's heart was filled with joy. She felt an unprecedented sense of satisfaction, knowing that the matter was not over. She did not stop there. Instead, she silently prepared to deal Tom the final blow, because Maya had humiliated her so badly in an expensive restaurant. Her mother, in a fit of rage, kicked Tom out of the house. To get rid of her problem, Tom went straight to Maya's house. He kept pounding on the door, cursing Maya. "I used to be too tolerant of you. From today onwards, I will never let you off the hook." As the door opened, a burly man suddenly appeared in front of him. The huge figure scared Tom instantly. During the exchange, I learned that Maya had secretly moved. On the other side, as Maya opened the door, Lucy and Jack had been waiting for a long time. Their purpose in coming was to help Maya decorate her new home. The considerate Jack specially sent Maya a bouquet of flowers. Lucy whispered to Maya, "You must not pay the rent for your brother. He doesn't check his account every day, so he won't know if there's any money in it." Lucy just couldn't understand why Maya had chosen this place. There were so many other places to live. After all, living in the same building as the minister was just too inconvenient. Maya just smiled and didn't say anything. As soon as Lucy left, Jack came up to her. He helped Maya organize her bookshelf, and Lucy happened to catch them doing it. Lucy could tell that her brother really liked Maya. In the elevator on the way home, she told her brother secretly, "Although I have never liked political marriages, and I think you did the right thing by breaking off your engagement with Eula. But you didn't break off your engagement because of another woman, did you?" Jack had just closed the door and went back in, then came out again. He told Lucy that he and Maya were not in a relationship, and that he would not do anything with her. Moreover, Maya was a good person. He did want to help her, but Lucy still felt that something was wrong, because her brother's eyes were full of love when he looked at Maya. The next morning, as soon as Tom arrived at the office, he fixed Maya with his gaze. He was about to say that what Maya had said and done in the restaurant that day was outrageous. Unexpectedly, he received a slap in the face. Then came another slap, even louder. Tom was about to strike back when Jack stopped him. He questioned Jack why he was so unfair, and this remark completely angered Maya. She directly questioned Tom, "Do you like fairness so much that you want to share love with two women?" To avoid a big scene, young counselor stepped forward to stop the fight. Maya simply took out a pair of red underwear from her bag and put it on Tom's head. She questioned him, "Whose are these? Why are they in his car?" Tom recalled that Joy had seduced him that day. Then the two of them played a game in the car. The guilty Tom stuttered for a long time before he started yelling, "How can you just rummage through someone else's car?" Joy, who had witnessed everything in the corner, subconsciously touched herself. All the colleagues in the office pricked up their ears. For the first time, they felt jealous and resentful towards the scumbag. Maya even took off the diamond ring that Tom had given her in front of everyone. After giving Tom a simple lesson, she smashed the ring against the corner of the wall. Under the violent impact, the fake ring instantly fell apart. During the break, the colleagues all gathered together to discuss the scumbag Tom. Topics such as lovers who have been dating for 7 years and the man cheating on his girlfriend came up again and again. Tom was even nicknamed Red Underwear. Immersed in the excitement, they didn't have the slightest interest in Chief Jin's return. They bluntly said that this was even more exciting than watching TV dramas. Meanwhile, Tom touched his injured face. He then understood why Maya had been so rude to his mother that day. Instead of repenting, he turned his head and blamed Joy. "How could you be so stupid as to not be able to tell the difference between one pair of underwear?" Unexpectedly, Joy informed him that the underwear wasn't hers. Their conversation was also heard by Jack. This time, he decided to take the initiative and go behind Maya's back. On the other side, Maya had long guessed that Tom would fall for it. She admitted that they were not Joy's underwear, but she did choose the style that Tom liked. Facing young counselor in Lucy's consolation, Maya also looked carefree. She didn't say anything and turned and walked out. Unexpectedly, she happened to bump into Chief Jin. Facing his ridicule, Maya left without looking back. Chief Jin said that Tom couldn't stand her and that's why he cheated on her. He even told his colleagues that if a man wants to date a fox, he wouldn't choose a bear. But the next second, Chief Jin couldn't laugh anymore. Joy tried to comfort Tom, telling him seriously that there was nothing wrong with cheating. "You were just following your heart. Don't care about what other people think, and don't waver in your heart." However, when he looked at the affectionate Joy, Tom pushed her away. He told Joy bluntly that you weren't the person for marriage, because Maya graduated from a Korean university and is very capable at work. The key is that she has saved a lot of money. She is a good woman who takes care of her family. And apart from being pretty, what are your strengths? Unfortunately, Chief Jin also heard all this. Seeing his beloved Joy being humiliated like this by Tom, he instantly went crazy. The two scumbags then got into a fight. Soon the news spread throughout the company. Everyone had their say, and Tom and Joy were completely discredited. Everyone also began to sympathize with Maya. That night, Maya looked at the text message from Joy and her heart was filled with mixed emotions. She hesitated to reply. But the next day, when they went to work, Tom and Joy encountered something even worse. Yang counselor was organizing data when she discovered that when Tom and Joy planned the supermarket tasting event, the rival company was also planning a main dish kit event. In contrast, all of their own company's food was stuffed at the back of the shelves. Maya remembered that the last tasting event had turned out very well and thought that it would be displayed at the front. Realizing that something was wrong, she hurriedly looked through the materials. Sure enough, the next second, Tom, who had been sitting uncomfortably, was in big trouble. Young counselor directly threw the information on his desk and asked him why he didn't put the allergy label up that day and why he didn't report the incident but hid it. What's even worse is that he didn't even apologize to the supermarket, but instead loudly accused it of being the fault of their employees. It was obvious that Joy and Tom were both panicking when they heard Tom say that he would just leave with Joy for a while. The supermarket staff started the tasting event without authorization. Their colleagues instantly switched to the watch and wait mode, but at this time, Joy stood up. She shouted publicly for Maya to help cover up. Maya just said that Tom had handled the customer very well. The only problem was that he didn't report it upwards. After this operation, the labels of girlfriend's best friend cheating on her and doing it during working hours were all posted on Tom and Joy. The two of them, who had no way to defend themselves, were also called to the personnel department by manager Wu. He said that he had set the two of them in words such as underwear as forbidden words in the company. Company emails containing forbidden words cannot be sent, messages cannot be sent either. However, the incident had a bad influence, so Tom had to accept a transfer to another department. As for Joy, it was difficult for her to be transferred to a permanent position. Although her contract had not yet expired, they decided to fire her immediately. Joy was very unwilling, but she had to accept the fact. After she returned home, she kept calling Maya, but there was no answer. Joy became the sinner of seducing men in everyone's mouth. However, she clearly did the wrong thing, but she did not have the slightest intention of repenting. Instead, she immediately got on the ground and handwrote a letter to go down with Maya. Sure enough, the next day, as soon as she arrived at work, Maya was attracted by the noise in the lobby. A middle-aged couple was holding up their mobile phones, yelling at Maya. "Who is Maya? Why did you post such a comment online?" Without waiting for Maya to explain, the woman slapped her directly and questioned her. "Do you think we pretended to be dead just to get free compensation? Do you think allergies are a joke? My husband almost died." The sudden scene made Tom and Joy instantly weak in the knees. Their colleagues were also discussing it. Maya, however, was unafraid and politely asked them for their phones, claiming she wanted to see for herself what had happened. Unexpectedly, she discovered that an account had been set up in her name and a letter posted. The letter read, "I am the key figure in the company scandal." Maya, as I am shaking, I will explain briefly. First, there is a misrepresentation of the love triangle. It is true that the man I am marrying is in love with my friend, but my friend did not reciprocate her advances. He is a very attractive man. I am trying to accept that this is inevitable. The supermarket incident was a classic case of a nasty customer trying to get free compensation. Eating something without looking at it first is something someone with a severe allergy would never do. It pains me to see my innocent friend being blamed. After reading the full text, Maya confessed that it was her own notes, but among the people she knows, there is someone whose notes are exactly the same as hers. Then she turned around and called Joy. Maya said that this time she would never let it go so easily. Then she dragged Joy over to the couple and took out a mobile phone from her bag in public. Knowing Joy well, Maya successfully unlocked the phone. Joy had indeed registered a social media account in Maya's name, and it was Joy who had sent the letter. Seeing the evidence before them, the couple realized they had wrongly accused someone else. Seeing this, the people around them also started to discuss and scold Joy for not only stealing her best friend's boyfriend, but also using her best friend's name to open an account to defend herself. She was truly a complete scumbag. Knowing she was now at a disadvantage, Joy finally begged for mercy. She said that she was afraid that things would develop in an extreme direction, and that's why she did something overboard to defend herself. But she never meant to insult the couple. As she looked at Joy, who was even groveling and bowing, the couple didn't say anything and instead turned to Maya to apologize. Unexpectedly, Joy took advantage of the situation to say that she has been very unstable emotionally lately, and that she knows she's a bad woman, but she's afraid that if this continues, she might really lose her mind. Amidst the slightly sympathetic gazes of those around her, she shamelessly sought Maya's forgiveness. Everyone was shocked to hear Joy say she was pregnant. Tom was so scared that his legs went limp. Only Ziyuan remained composed, because she knew that Joy was definitely cooking up something even worse. At work, Manager Wu called Chief Jean into his office and told him that he was disappointing in terms of business ability and colleague evaluation. Therefore, it was decided that he would be demoted. Yang Counselor would become the head of the trust section. If he was not satisfied, he could resign now. Chief Jean had to take out his anger on Young Counselor, shouting at her to help tidy up her workstation. Yang Counselor wanted to go over to him, but then she felt a sharp pain in her stomach. She then went to the storage room to calm down. Unexpectedly, Manager Wu also walked in. Yang Counselor thought he wanted to smoke, so she hurried over to stop him, but she found that Manager Wu was just eating candy. Instead, he questioned Young Counselor why she was here during working hours. Unexpectedly, the seemingly timid Young Counselor asked Manager Wu in return, "Aren't you also here to relax your mind?" Manager Wu immediately said, You're starting to pretend to know again. Yang counselor knew that Manager Wu was a hard person with a soft heart, because the more he cared about the other person, the more he would say things that were not pleasing to the ear. After hesitating, Yang counselor told him that Maya was more suitable to be the section chief, because the entire meal kit project was from her hand. Looking at Yang counselor's back, Manager Wu was silent. Maya asked Yang counselor why he told his superior these things. After all, we did the work together. I also think you deserve to be promoted. Yang counselor, however, said that he has always felt uncomfortable being the team leader. After all, the project is Maya's. In addition, she also apologized for not daring to defend Maya in front of Chief Jean before. After everything was said, the friendship between the two also warmed up. On the other side, Tom, who learned that Joy was pregnant, went out drunk in the middle of the night. He said frantically that his life was ruined. Looking at the various loan shark debt collection text messages on his phone, he fell into an abyss of grief. However, an accident also quietly occurred. That night, as he stumbled home drunk, he accidentally fell to the ground. Two figures also appeared before his eyes. By the time Tom came to his senses, he had already been kidnapped. Their behavior was unusually clumsy. Obviously they were first-time kidnappers, but looking at the scum in front of them yelling, Tom and the others still walked over with hammers in hand. True to his guilty conscience, Tom thought they were loan sharks coming to collect a debt. To save his life, he said he already had a way to raise the money. It was true that he said he had no money, but his parents did, and as long as he got married, his parents would buy him a house. At that time, he would definitely be the first to turn the house into cash to pay back the debt. In this way, Tom was released, and the kidnappers who kidnapped him were Jack's two friends who owned the fried chicken restaurants. Jack's move was to speed up the pace of Tom and Joy getting married, so Maya can be free from the scum and have true happiness. Sure enough, Tom hurried home and tentatively asked his mother, "After I get married, will you definitely buy me a house? If you can you buy it now?" Unexpectedly, his mother said, "You've only bought me red sweaters since you were little. If you want a house, you have to give me a grandson now." Tom had no choice but to go to Joy's house, which he despised, and apologize. He said what he said was a bit too much, but that's how men are. Unexpectedly, Joy Jing was solemn and thought that Maya had really changed a lot, because even if she said she was pregnant, she didn't want to talk to her. Recalling that day, Maya Joy still couldn't help but feel a little scared when she heard Tom say that Maya was inherently fragile, and was even more hurt and frightened after learning that her boyfriend had cheated on her with her best friend. Plus, her best friend was pregnant with her boyfriend's child, so naturally her mood was at an all-time low. Joy still couldn't smile, because she was the only one who knew that no matter how outrageous or bottomless Maya's actions had been in the past, Maya would always forgive her with magnanimity and understand her. But this time, the two best friends obviously could not go back to the way things were. Watching Joy, who was overwhelmed by doubt and anger, Tom told her with brazen arrogance that she should forget Maya now, that we have all let her go, and then we can rebuild a new family. Listening to Tom's insincere promise, Joy, who had no way out, was actually moved. She immediately started posting online to find pregnancy test sticks and ultrasound pictures. She tried to use this to turn her fake pregnancy into a real one and take Maya's everything for herself. At this moment, Joy, who had planned everything, had no idea that Maya had known for a long time that she was faking her pregnancy, because when she had married Tom in her previous life, the doctor had made it clear that Tom could never get a woman pregnant. But in any case, the scumbag had already gotten together, and Maya celebrated with Yang Counselor and Lucy at Enho's shop, and Enho's overflowing love for Maya was also captured by Lucy. Meanwhile, Manager Wu told Jack that Grandpa's instant cooking packet project proposal was indeed Maya's work, and Maya was indeed the victim in this corporate infidelity scandal. Out of curiosity, what kind of woman could make Jack so infatuated? Grandpa secretly asked Maya to come to his home. He asked Maya if she had encountered any difficulties recently. It seems that there are also many people who are difficult to approach, but Maya said that one must face up to difficulties even if they are bound to happen. There aren't many difficult people to get along with, but there are many strong people. Maya was called over by her grandfather. According to the aunt at home, Jack hurried there in a panic, but when he entered the door, he found Maya chatting with her grandfather. Then Maya was taken by Jack to the back garden, because now he could hardly resist doing what he wanted to do. Jack even started to teach Maya how to shoot. The moment their bodies lightly touched, Maya's heartbeat quickened. That night, because it was Christmas, Maya made a big table of food for Lucy, and then went on a date with Enho, set up by Lucy. Enho, who usually doesn't drive much, was obviously rusty. To make the date a success, Lucy even laughed and said she had a date that night. But after Enho and Maya went out, she immediately went and lay on the sofa complaining that she was still single. Suddenly Lucy was startled by a noise, and turned her head. She actually saw her brother sitting there eating ice cream in the middle of winter. Her brother's fierce appearance obviously showed his jealousy. Thinking about the fact that it was her brother who had asked to set Enho up with Maya, Lucy was instantly full of confusion. Soon Jack held up his ice cream and handed it to her. With a fierce look, telling her to just eat it. But then she heard Lucy say that Maya seemed to dream of being able to spend Christmas at home, with shiny light bulbs and gifts under the Christmas tree. Jack didn't say anything, but he took all this to heart. Meanwhile, Enho and Maya went to the ice rink and had a great time. But even though Maya was happy when she was with Enho, Jack was always on her mind. It was then that she realized she was truly in love with Jack. That night, Maya told Enho she was happy to have reunited with him and that she would always be his best friend. Enho understood that the words written in Maya's left hand were not from her, and accepted everything with an open heart. After they parted, Maya had just reached her front door when she heard someone sneeze. Jack had actually been waiting outside her door all night. He had also heard Maya's entire conversation with Enho, because she had something to say to Jack. Maya was invited into his home. Looking at the Christmas tree decorations in the house, Maya's eyes could not help but fill with tears. She confessed that she had gone out on a date with Enho today. Enho also confessed to her, but because there has always been someone else in my heart, I refused Enho, who was very good. Looking at Jack, who was full of affection, Maya lightly put her feet up and kissed him passionately. That day, Maya finally received an invitation to Joy's wedding with her scumbag boyfriend. She hurriedly and happily forwarded the good news to the minister. Unexpectedly, Jack directly shared the news in the company group, and all colleagues were scolding the couple. To avoid further embarrassment, Tom asked the supervisor to delete it. The supervisor, who is always fair and just, actually told him that when an employee gets married, an announcement will be made and a gift will be given, and to encourage team members to attend the wedding, vacation time will be provided, and you will also get vacation time for your honeymoon. The supervisor knew that Jack liked Maya, so he did all this. Although he was a bit surprised, he accepted it. Instead, Tom went home and immediately lost his temper with Joy and his mother, and scolded her for sending the invitation to the company, so that in the future, scum like him would not have the face to go to work in the company. His mother scolded Tom for treating pregnant Joy like that. The more turbulent the days of Tom and Joy were, the more sweet Maya and Jack became, because he had liked Maya for a long time. Jack kissed her passionately and confessed his love. But Jack, who was immersed in happiness, always had the scene of his own car accident in his past flashing through his mind. Even though Maya expressed her deep feelings and said that she wanted to be with Jack, she was still mercilessly kicked out of the house. And the next morning, as soon as Maya arrived at the office, she noticed that Jack wasn't there. Instead, the devalued Jean counselor kept telling the new young counselor to do things. His long-winded manner made anyone want to reach out and slap him. He even shouted that women were trouble and couldn't get anything done. One day he would be reinstated. Maya could see that Chief Young had been silently enduring it. During breaks, she and Lucy discussed the need to point out Jean counselor's attitude problem once and for all. After all, the official personnel appointment had already been announced. But at that moment, Chief Young received a call from her husband. Her husband actually told her that she must be home by 5 p.m. because her workday ended at 6 p.m. And now that she had been promoted, Chief Young was in a difficult situation. She didn't know that Maya had seen it all. Maya couldn't help but think of Tom's arrogance from her past life. She immediately gave Chief Young advice, telling her to seek help from her parents. Maya reminded Chief Yang that there was a limit to being considerate. Otherwise, if you are considerate to the bad guys, they will not only not know, but will also take advantage of you. When passing by the office, Maya asked Chief Yan why Jack wasn't at work. Unexpectedly, she was told that he had a bad cold and was sick and had asked for leave. Out of concern, Maya hurried home to prepare the ingredients for congee. As she busied herself quietly, her thoughts also returned to the past. At that time, she made congee for the sick Tom to drink, but instead received a cold snub. Soon, Maya stood in front of Jack's door with a worried heart, but after ringing the doorbell, there was no answer. She was about to turn around and leave when she heard a kitten inside screaming miserably. Maya remembered that Jack had once told her the house code. Sure enough, she managed to open the door with her memory. She saw Jack lying on the ground in a daze, with a fever on his forehead. She was anxious to help Jack go to the hospital for a checkup, but she was stopped. Jack asked Maya in a daze, "Do you still feel uneasy? I hope you don't feel like you're still on that swaying boat." Maya remembered that when she was a student, she once told a boy that ever since her father died, every day felt like she was on a swaying boat, and she was very uneasy. She really wanted to be stable and to set foot on the ground. Maya then understood what Jack meant when he said, "I want to become the land." She also recalled that Jack was that boy. The two people who had fallen deeply in love finally knew each other's feelings. Meanwhile, En-ho, who was still reeling from his broken heart, was cooking. A colleague told him that someone was looking for Lucy outside. Lucy was sitting in the seat where Jack usually sat, and took out 2 tickets to the musical, hoping that he and Maya could go together. Unexpectedly, as soon as he heard Maya's name, En-ho burst into tears. Lucy then realized that Maya had rejected En-ho. In order to make Jack feel better as soon as possible, Maya stayed by his side the whole time. Over and over again, she used a towel to wipe his forehead. When Jack opened his eyes again, he actually saw Maya lying next to him. Seeing that it was time to go to work, Maya was about to leave when Jack grabbed her. He questioned Maya about whether anything had happened last night. Under Jack's persistent questioning, Maya confessed. When you're sick, you don't even speak in the polite form of speech. You said you wanted me to feel secure and happy. You also said that you would recognize me immediately when you saw me again. Facing Maya's advances, Jack wanted to push her away again, but heard Maya say, even if we regret it, we have to go through with it together. Jack could no longer hold back his emotions and embraced Maya tightly. And from then on the two of them began to show off their affection in high profile. Maya would get off the bus a little earlier at a place closer to the company, and Jack would silently gaze at his girlfriend in the rearview mirror. The two of them, nourished by love, had bright smiles on their faces. When waiting for the elevator and seeing Jack inside, Maya would obediently stand next to him. At work, Jack asked Maya what she wanted to do at the weekend, and Maya would say, do what you want to do. Unwittingly, the two of them are wrapped in happiness. However, when he sees Maya, beaming with joy, Tom is not happy. He tells Maya that we still have to work together. You've been treating me like a nobody, which makes everyone else feel awkward. As the elevator doors open, Tom has to swallow his anger for the time being. Then he goes to the warehouse to vent his anger. Tom's mother had originally promised Joy that she would buy a luxury home before they got married. Now, however, it has suddenly turned into a rental for them to live in. Joy's face gradually turns red when she hears this, but in order to successfully marry Tom, she had to keep smiling. However, the scary thing was that Tom exploded on the spot, and that wasn't all. Joy wanted to go to Hawaii for her honeymoon with Tom, but her mother-in-law said that it was not good for pregnant women to fly, and forced them to just have fun domestically. What made Joy even more unacceptable was that her mother-in-law chose the smallest and most simple wedding dress shop. She picked and chose without regard for Joy's preferences, and finally chose the most rustic wedding dress, and the wedding invitations were not even the slightest bit thoughtful. Joy just vented her anger on Tom. Joy, who was utterly disappointed in Tom at the moment, was oblivious. Tom's attitude had already decided everything when she first met her mother-in-law. At that time, Tom's mother knew that Joy and Maya worked in the same group. She asked Tom why he always wanted to marry a female colleague. How embarrassing, after all. He had messed up before. After realizing that her son was also helpless, his mother fortunately said that she didn't want Tom to get married like this in the first place. But Joy, you at least graduated from a Korean university, so you can settle for that. Obviously, Joy was instantly puzzled, but Tom casually lied that Joy graduated from business studies. She is smart and can do things well, and she will go to work after giving birth. Seeing this, Tom's mother asked Joy, did your father used to do business? Although Joy was very guilty, she still said that her family was very harmonious before her father passed away. She also envied her parents' relationship. They also cultivated themselves very hard. Recalling that Joy did quite well in the cooking class, Mom Tom then believed that she was a well-educated woman, and praised her for having excellent taste in men. That night, after seeing off Mom Tom, Joy immediately shook off Tom's arm, and questioned him about why he had lied about being a university graduate in South Korea. In addition, Tom even asked Joy back, you say I'm lying, but where is your sincerity? You say your mother likes me, but she hasn't even met me. Then after looking at the time, Tom left. It seemed that every minute he spent with Joy was superfluous. Apart from being yelled at and losing her temper from time to time, she also had to obey her mother-in-law's orders, and obediently listen to prenatal music in her room for 18 hours straight. In contrast, Maya, nourished by love, started going on sweet dates with Jack. On the way, she received a message from Chief Yang's parents, because she had told them about her husband's idleness. Now, her parents were forcing him to work at their steakhouse, even though her husband was on his knees. Unwillingly, Chief Yang's parents silenced him with a single word. Hearing the good news, Jack could not help but praise Maya for doing a great job. She had made Chief Yang, who was used to being patient, take a brave step. Later, the two went to the beach, where Maya would go whenever she was unhappy. Smart Maya took Jack to the soup restaurant where they often ate. She told him that when they had dinner together for the first time, she felt that he had the bearing of a rich young master. Then she taught Jack how ordinary people would eat soup and rice, although no matter what condiments he used, he would be told that they were all wrong. Jack was extremely patient, and cooperated with Maya to give her emotional value. On the beach covered in gold, Jack kissed Maya deeply. Both of them had each other in their hearts and firmly believed that this rebirth was meant for them to meet each other. The next day at work, Gene Counselor sat in Chief Yang's seat. He claimed that he was suddenly uncomfortable with the change in position and would soon be sitting back there. This also directly caused the new employees to think that he was the section chief and bow their heads to greet him, unaware that the real section counselor's defiant expression. Chief Yang, who had wanted to tolerate it, was encouraged by Maya to stand up for himself for once. When Gene Counselor heard what Chief Yang had said, he held to celebrate young counselor's promotion. Tom suddenly performed a juggling act with a bottle. Like a clown, he was instantly overcome with embarrassment when he saw the silent crowd. Princess, Maya couldn't help but think of her late father watching over and acting intimately with a woman. She was the first time he had seen Jack smile, and Maya felt incredible.